All right, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another post-match fan show. Spurs have beaten Aston Villa 2-1 in what was a fantastic team performance, especially in the second half, where Spurs really put to bed, well, not quite put to bed, but at least went some way to overdoing what happened last week in the North London derby, and showed maybe there is still some fight left in this team after a lot of people questioning a lot of things after last week. A lot of people saying, are they playing for Nuno? Do these players care? All these kind of questions. Is the quality good enough? Or at least today they showed some fight, some spirit, some pressing, and we end up with a 2-1 victory.
Yeah, listen, we needed 3 points. We needed aggression, we needed passion, and we got all of that. And Nuno, got his selection right, and the team turned up and reacted to what was a very poor 3 defeats in a row. And it's nice to have a green in the box, and it's nice to be up the table above West Ham, 8th in the league and 2 points off 4th sim. So maybe it's not as bad and doom and gloom as we all think it is.
Not a lot of doom and gloom. 4 wins from 3 now, it looks like, for Nuno. Doesn't look as terrible as it did before the game.
It could have looked bad.
Could have looked bad. You actually haven't yet to draw, are we, under Nuno?
No,
yet to draw,
we're not.
Which is interesting enough. But we are. It was a good win. I was very happy with how we structured the team defensively. With how the pressing structure was very impressive. How high we were able to press. How creative we were, especially in the second half for large periods. We pretty much non-stop creating chances in that second half, despite conceding where it would have been very easy for our heads to drop. So I was really, really happy. And I think individually, the new boys, Romero, Emerson, really impressed me today. I think they're starting to get to grips with things. Despite not scoring or assisting, I did think Kane was a bit more involved today. I'm sorry. A bit more involved today than he has been in the past 5 games. And look, Son was just impeccable. He's head and shoulders man of the match. And he literally, everything he touched, they couldn't handle him today. And you've got to give him as much praise as possible, because I thought he was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And deserved a lot more than his 2 assists today. But I think overall, you got to be happy with the performance. It's not just the result, because a lot of people could easily turn around like the first 3 games and say, oh yeah, we won, but what did we do? You've got to say the performance today was pretty strong.
We deserved it. There's no one, not a Villa or a Spurs or a football fan, that can watch that game and say Tottenham doesn't deserve to win. I'm not saying we didn't batter them, but we controlled the game in the second half. We went 1-0 down, and a lot of Tottenham fans would have looked at that and said, right, here we go, right, 1-1. Is it going to be 2-1 Villa? Are the heads going to drop? We didn't. We just continued to play with the same game plan, which was press, aggression, create chances, and like you said, Sonny, they could not deal with Son. And you'd think put 2 players on him, put 3 players on him, but every time we got the ball to Son, if he didn't create a chance, he had a good pass. He was keeping the ball ticking. There was a couple of moments where he had a couple of dodgy passes in the first 10 minutes, and the first 10 minutes we were not at the races. It was all Villa.
They started strong,
but we grew into the game, and we also, when we went, when it went 1-1, we continued to grow into the game. There were some nervy moments. Emerson had a real game today. Welcome to the Premier League. Matt Targett was really testing him, obviously for the goal. Emerson has to take some responsibility as well as the others. But generally, what was great to see is that we continued to knock on the door. And we should have won 3-1 or 4-1 if we were more clinical.
We should have. Lo Celso, Kane, Son even guilty of missing some real gilt-edged chances near the end of the game.
But we created chances.
That's the thing.
We haven't been creating chances. If you watch that game and you hadn't watched Spurs for the last 3 games, it looked like a different club. It looked like a different team.
And I don't think Villa played badly. I don't think you could say this was a bad Villa side. I think they played fairly well actually during the game. But I think we actually just played better than them, and that was the reality.
I think they went a bit long ball. I think they went a bit long ball too often. Like as a Villa fan, if I was watching that and I'm watching, them go for them long balls into Matt Targett and Cash, which is their game plan, is to get the ball wide and get Targett and Cash in on the crosses and create Spurs problems in the box. That was a good game plan. It worked for the goal. They didn't really in the second half get the ball down and play that much good football. And we did. We played the better football in the second half, and you can see that by the chances we created. So well deserved. Not, it's happy days for the next couple of weeks, but obviously we've got a difficult running coming now. So the real test lies ahead, and if we carry on like that, we've got every chance of picking up points. So great to see passion and aggression, mate. Absolutely good.
All right, shall we start talking to some callers?
Let's
Are you
go.
ready, Josh?
I'm ready, mate.
All right, you want to talk to the
Who we got
fans?
first?
All right, who we got? Ben Wills. Let's get Ben on. How you doing, Ben? You all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. Can you hear me?
Yeah, nice to have you on, mate. We can hear you loud and clear. Spurs beat Villa 2-1 today. What was your take on the performance?
Well, I think it was really good, but I'm still worried we're not there because I think we felt really under control, but as well because I think Villa they wasted so many balls. It was and we wasted quite a lot. We lost quite a few balls in possession. I think mainly in the first half, which in a game like Villa's that they lose the ball as much as we did, it didn't punish us as much. But for example, like a team like Chelsea or Arsenal or whatever, those mistakes that we kept doing were really those are the ones that really cause us problems in I think those kind of games. So yeah, I'm still kind of worried, and I was also really worried about Lucas Moura. I think he was completely gone for a good while in the game, and then he came back in and he got a goal. It was thank God. And I was also looking at the goal we conceded, and I was looking at the replay, and I blame it mainly on Nuno. I don't think you should take the whole blame, but I look at it and I see, okay, it's a mistake that Son didn't run after his man. Then the collision that there was on the ground with the floor, because I think Skip fell over and Hobie was dragged into to try and solve the problem, and the ball somehow just came out of there, and then Romero got out of position where I think Lucas should have gone. Lucas was just walking, he was looking at the ball, and Ndombele as well. I think the line that Son, Ndombele and Lucas was meant to help Hobie and Skip didn't do well. So I think there's still some mistakes that I still think we're not there yet. And also just like I think the goal was around minute 66, 67, and I was thinking minute 61 or 62, I was like, Nuno, you have to change Tanguy. He has to come off now. He's been amazing, but he has to come off. And I'm thinking, and then he's letting it go, and then like 4 minutes go by, and then that happens, and the goal came by, and I wish we could have won that without that goal. If we hadn't conceded that goal, if that mistake didn't happen, I would have been happy, I think.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I think it wasn't a perfect performance, but you got to say, in terms of what people are complaining about, chance creation, being a lot more on the front foot. I think we created more chances today than we did, probably in the last 3 games combined, didn't we? So I think that's a step in the right direction, isn't it?
Yeah, that's for sure. We did, but at the same time, this is what I was telling you. It's just we had the ball a lot more because they were losing the ball. Aston Villa. Aston Villa did not play as well as they've been playing the last few games.
Yeah, true. I thought they started really strong, pressing us.
Yeah,
they were hounding us, and they forced us into a lot of mistakes. But we grew into the game.
I'm not sure if we allowed Villa to.
I said that earlier. I said that earlier. I think that because Aston Villa were going to come and eat us, they were going to try and bite us as much as they could, and if we could have held the position, we kept possession of the ball. We didn't completely lose it to them, but we kind of make them run, made them feel tired, so they saw that they couldn't bite us. They actually had to go on long balls then and counterattacks because they couldn't actually bite us in possession. I think that's what won us mentality-wise, because Aston Villa were losing hope, I think.
Potentially. Individually, who really impressed you today?
Well, I was going to say man of the match Romero, which I think you would have agreed with me. But then I saw a really, really dumb tackle that cost us a goal. I'm not saying it's completely his blame, but then I wouldn't give him a man of the match for him. It would either be, for me, a Hobie or a Son. I think they were absolutely incredible, both of them.
Yeah, Højbjerg and Son were both brilliant. And what did you make of Emerson's performance? He's come under a lot of criticism, hasn't he, Emerson, since joining Tottenham? People saying they've seen enough. They don't think he's got it. But But what do you think of his performance today? Do you think he stepped up today?
I think he stepped up, but I also think he hasn't been given much of a chance to step up. So I still don't want to give. I'm still having my thoughts around it. He hasn't been tested as much, and I think he struggled a bit at the very beginning to like pull forward, to go and help at the attack, and then as in the second half he was pushing forward a lot more, and he was a lot stronger defensively, especially with the long balls. Yeah, so I was impressed, but yeah, I don't think it's fair for him to get so much criticism. Like even when he was in Barcelona, he wasn't playing, and he was still getting eaten by so many comments and criticism. Is quite sad.
Yeah, I think Ben makes some good points. Look, with Emerson, with any player, when the whole team's playing well, suddenly you see the better qualities of that player. And today I felt like the whole team was more at it. I know we had some silly passes in the first half, especially in the first 15 minutes. Lucas giving the ball away, Tanguy giving the ball away. But when you see Tottenham go with aggression, with all players up for it, pressing, trying, suddenly Emerson looks a better player. Suddenly Romero looks better, Dyer looks better. Because football is one of those games where individually you can go and score a great goal or make a great tackle at the back. But eventually, over the 95 minutes, if the team's not at it, people start getting found out. So I feel for Emerson a bit, playing in this team that's not been winning. You know, today he looks a better player. You know, previous games he hasn't. So it's about the collective as well as the individual alone.
I completely agree to that, because the energy. So this is like what I was saying. In the minute 60 something, 62, 61, just before the goal, I could see it in the pitch that there was something not right. The energy, they were tired. There was something not right. And Eric Dyer had a great game. He was playing a great game. And then as soon there was a pinball happening inside our box, and then as soon as the ball came out, he was like, he didn't have the energy to pull the team forward, to get out of the box and start and actually start positioning themselves properly. In fact, it's like he didn't feel it, and I think that was caused within the energy of around the players. They felt tired, and I think that's where Nuno lacked. I think he should have done the change of Tanguy.
I think this result looks better than it is because of where we've come from. Because of the 3 losses, this result looks better. This performance looks better. This should be the minimum performance that we put in against every team.
Chelsea. It's not.
It's a good Villa side who beat Man United last week.
Everton 3-0.
Villa played way better last week.
I think you saw them start very confidently today. I think they were playing really well until we stopped them. We stopped them from playing. I think Skip made a massive difference today. I think we were good. I think we played really well.
They were worried about Sonny the whole game. They couldn't deal with Sonny. They couldn't deal. Emerson was getting space down the right. You know, we were pinning them back.
In fact, they were getting chances. Matt Tart, we struggled to contain Target and Cash. We did struggle to contain them, but I thought we did a good job at minimising their damage, and we hurt them going forward. I actually think we played pretty well today.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying we didn't play well. I just think it wasn't the same level. So I still think no matter if we played as well as we did today, I don't think we could. I still think we would struggle against a stronger team. There's a lot of things that have to be learnt and perfected, because there was a few mistakes that could cost us.
Yeah, look, we have to be realistic about where we are. Of course, we played a Chelsea, Liverpool, City, or one of those teams, then we probably do come unstuck because they're just better teams.
I'm super happy that we won, obviously.
But I'm saying Villa are no mugs, is my point, and I don't think they actually played that bad today, Villa in general.
You know those elite clubs, the Liverpool, Cities, Chelseas, you take a draw and you walk out and job done happy. That's where you get your draws in the season, which get you your 10, 15 points. In games like this, we're going to respect people like Villa less, Aston Villa less, because they're not Chelsea, they're not Liverpool, they're not City. So it's only right that, you know, Spurs attack games like this. If this was City at home, or this was Chelsea or Liverpool, then yeah, you know, you respect the opposition a little bit more, which gives them an opportunity to grow into the game. We didn't allow Villa to grow into the game in the second half, and I was really proud of Spurs holding Villa back.
Well, that's what I was saying. So the first half, Villa really wanted to come and bite us. Second half, Villa saw that we were not going to let them go with an easy fight. We actually made it tough for them. But we still conceded a goal, and for me, it's like
we did
that.
yeah.
We have to get those mistakes out of the way.
I think, Ben,
We're not perfect. There's always going to be mistakes, but I really think because I was replaying so many times the goal of how it happened, and I'm seeing that line and
look, Romero's gone in too early, and I think it was Watkins has done
but
it.
you
Whoever
should see it again. You should see it again where Lucas was just walking right beside it, and then he went for the run, but he didn't completely push for it, and then who else? And Dombele couldn't reach as well. So I think it's also a mistake from Nuno because I think he should have changed Ndombele earlier, but as well from the players, that extra push, especially for Lucas, I think he was a bit gone for quite a while until he got the second goal. I don't think Lucas.
There was a period, I agree. We were saying it in the first half where Lucas was giving the ball away a lot. He was giving the ball away a lot. It's true, but I think he did come back, didn't he?
The thing with Lucas is whilst you might sacrifice defensiveness or him missing, he's a goal threat, and he's on the counter. He's got the pace, and he showed that in this exact situation.
Yeah, but
where he went missing.
The reason I say is because he's nearer
and then
than
he turns up with a goal.
Again.
So it's difficult to get. We haven't got a squad full of defending and attacking players that can do both sides of the game really well. So we're always going to have players that defensively make mistakes because we just haven't got the depth of players that can do both sides of the game. So, we're always going to get moments like that. We've seen it this season already, and we've seen it today with Lucas or with Tanguy, making mistakes, silly passes. But at the end of the day, football's about winning. And if you win 2-1 or you win 3-2, you take the points and you go home. And that's what the game's about, is winning. So I agree with you, constructively looking at that goal. Romero makes a mistake. Lucas is up front. He's not tracked back as much. Emerson's in no man's land because he's got two players running at him.
Actually, that's the problem. Emerson was faced with two players, and that's
because Romero was out of position because he'd made that silly foul.
I don't think it was completely Romero's fault there. Well, yeah. If you see it all together for a bit of keep looking at what player should have tagged what. It doesn't look horrendous. I think Romero's tackle was a bit.
When you look at the goal, you've got Villa with 3 players coming to 4 Tottenham players, and it ends up being 4 Liverpool players. It's 4 Villa players on 3 Tottenham players. So we lose Romero.
Hobie was dragged because Oliver Skip. I think Oliver Skip was the midfielder that dropped onto the floor while trying to take the ball off an Aston Villa player, and Hobie was forced to go and help him, which caused a bit of a dilemma. And Ndombele was kind of tracking back, and in the end he didn't.
Skip has to take responsibility because he lets Watkins run past him. The ball at the same time goes out wide, and then Dyer's left with Watkins 1-on-1, and Dyer has to take responsibility because he lets Watkins run in behind him. So it's a combination of errors from Romero, Skip,
it's a mistake
and Emerson. You could put.
No, we can go and go.
Yeah, of course. If we're being extra constructive, then we.
But who's all right, Ben?
Reguilon actually had a really good game as well.
Reguilon. Yeah, I thought he did well as well. He obviously played that ball for Sonny for the second goal as well. I thought he was played really well. And I thought, I think last 20 minutes was when we really started to shine, which was really positive. When we could have been hanging on, but we weren't. I felt we were. I should have been 3 or 4-1 at the end.
Yeah,
I'm feeling kind of sad for Harry Kane. I think his performance was. I mean, he performed better than the other games. Mm-hmm. But he should have got a goal today. He should have got a goal. He should have
finished his chance.
You agree? He should have got. And also, to be fair to him, he should have had 2 assists.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for a couple of missed chances, which was unfortunate for him.
I think we should have scored a lot more than what we did.
That's what I said. Yeah, we missed a lot of chances. But Ben, look, we've got a lot of other callers, Ben. But I really appreciate you coming on. Appreciate you giving up your time, and we'll speak to you soon. Thanks for calling, mate.
How many Spurs?
I see you. Come on. Well, didn't expect someone not to be as positive. I thought everyone's going to be very positive. But look, it's good to keep everyone grounded in terms of what we can do better and mistakes we made.
Yeah, you can only improve from your mistakes, right? So
correct.
It's got every right to be constructive.
Yeah, and I think we did. Look, it wasn't the perfect. I think we all know it wasn't the perfect display.
No.
Today, obviously there were moments in the game where Villa dominated and we conceded possession, and they could have had a couple. But I think in general, I think Spurs definitely did deserve the win.
It's progressive.
There was definitely more that was better.
38 games. if we carry on in this direction of being a bit more aggressive, pressing, more teamwork, and the players really putting in a shift, then I think that's a huge positive going into the international break. So yeah.
Let's bring someone who's usually quite positive. Well, depends.
Hey.
We'll have to wait and see. Cody Mack. Let's bring him on. Yes, Cody, how are we doing, my friend? Nice to see
guys.
you.
How you doing?
Yeah, look, I've got a smile on my face. We've got 3 points, aggressive performance, attacking football. Did you like what you saw on the pitch today?
Hey, we can play football. We can actually play
Can
football.
we? Apparently.
We can keep
can
possession.
score.
We can get shots towards target. We can get shots on target. I don't know. It was really hard to picture us winning today after the last 3 results in the Premier League, especially laying a big fat egg at the Emirates last week. So like in the context of the momentum of the season, today was massive going into an international break. To go out there and have an aggressive performance, and one which we played with a lot less fear, and there has to be a lot of pressure on these guys right now, especially the manager as well. There's been a lot of people calling for Nuno to be sacked already, and he definitely needed to get a result today. And we got 3 points, so you have to be happy.
Yeah, I mean, do you think we deserve the win overall? Obviously, Villa started quite strong, but we grew into the game. Højbjerg got his goal. We got pegged back by Villa, but we didn't let our heads drop, did we, when we went 1-1? We got an instant reaction, which was positive to see, wasn't it?
I thought we should have won comfortably, 4-1 maybe. Son probably should have had a hat trick. He had a lot of gilt edge, clear cut chances that, and Kane as well was a little bit wasteful. And there was that one play where Ndombele got the flick in behind, and his first touch was so poor.
Yeah.
I mean, and like Lo Celso too, that one play where Kane backheeled it to him, and then he's just passing it.
Oh, I was screaming at the TV at that one. I was like, just kill the game.
Yeah, but listen, it would have been really easy for a team in a fragile state of mind to roll over once we conceded that equalizer. And we didn't do that. We took the game by the scruff of the neck again, and maybe we were a little bit fortunate to get such an easy goal in transition so shortly after they had equalized. But from then on out, Villa, they really hardly had a sniff. And especially I was impressed with how we handled injury time. The ball was basically
Brilliant.
Completely locked in the Aston Villa side of the pitch for the last 5 minutes. And it was comfortable the way that we saw it out. And that's maybe something that we're not used to going back to last year.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I was impressed as well when at 2-1, maybe last year we would have sat back on that result and try and grind out the win, but we went for more goals and more chances, and we should have had it in those last 20 minutes and another 2 goals at least if it wasn't for us being wasteful in front of goals. So it was nice for us being brave, and it was nice for us pressing really hard on the pitch even late in the game, which was really positive to see. What do you think were the big changes? Maybe obviously. It's night and day from last week against Arsenal, but in terms of the approach today with Skip back in midfield, adding that extra bit of bite, and maybe Emerson or the right back who looked a lot more comfortable on the ball than maybe Tanganga has so far. Like, what in the team or team wise, maybe individually wise, who impressed you?
Well, I thought I think despite being maybe not fully at fault for the goal, I thought Christian Romero made his presence felt. He was very aggressive. He was pressing quite well. His headed clearances were excellent. Good height, good power, and he seemed to be kind of always in the right place at the right time, even on set pieces and whatnot. I think having him at the back made a huge difference today. And I don't want to pick on players, but I think dropping Dele Alli made a huge difference. We saw on Thursday, he was given the captain's armband, and then he was hauled off after about 60 minutes, and he had a little bit of a strop, and I think he could probably tell that this was going to end up happening. And look, I'll always love Dele Alli, but I think it's about time that he was dropped, and I'm not even sure if I would be comfortable starting him in the Conference League at this point, considering the disaster class that he just laid on Thursday. But yeah, Emerson, I thought. You could put him in there as a good shout for man of the match. I thought he was getting forward quite well and quite consistently and providing a good option there. He had a couple of plays that he made where he created some good chances. Sonny blasted one over the bar off an Emerson cross. He had a good shot on target, forced a decent save from Martinez. And when we did lose possession and he was exposed, he got back well. I thought he answered a lot of his critics today, which I don't understand why he would even have a lot of critics at this point
after 2 games,
in his Tottenham career, because people are looking at his body of work in La Liga and making comparisons. It takes time to adapt to a new league, and I think Emerson is showing good adaptation and good progression. And I could count probably at least 10 individual defensive plays that he made, and he made quite well today. So yeah, he would be a good shout for man of the match along with Højbjerg and Heung-min Son.
Yeah, Sonny was brilliant, wasn't he? Absolutely outstanding. Do you think Højbjerg was helped, having Skip next to him, maybe give him not only people, because I think it wasn't just license to go forward, which we're obviously getting the goal and that helped him, but I think it's even license to press forward, press teams even higher, because I feel like when Højbjerg doesn't have that protection with him, he's stuck so deep all the time, and when he's pressing, he can get overrun, he's pressing in deeper situations, but having Skip next to him allows him a bit more confidence when he's approaching maybe a defender or a midfielder in a deeper position in the opposition's half, because he knows Skip's there protecting him behind him if they do beat that press.
Yeah, absolutely. It was nice to see Højbjerg get on the score sheet with a really well taken goal. Like not trying to overpower it, just placing it, kind of passing it into that back corner. And Skippy's presence. Listen, I think if you look at the 2 performances going back to last week at the Emirates and comparing that today, I mean, it's night and day, the foothold that we had in the midfield, and Skippy has a lot to do with that, providing that kind of safety blanket, not only for Højbjerg to be able to be aggressive and do what he does best in kind of cleaning up the garbage and making interceptions and providing pressure on their midfield, but also being that midfielder who can drop in behind when a center back gets caught out like Dyer. Skippy made a few plays in the box today. I thought he was really well. He did really well, and there's just so much more balance. So much more balance than having that midfield. I mean, it just looks atrocious on Nuno for putting out a midfield of Højbjerg and Ndombele and Dele last week. I mean, way more balanced today. I mean, look, when the lineups came out and you saw the formations that were being played, I think that was probably the first thing that would go through most Tottenham fans' minds. The alarm bells would be ringing off about, Aston Villa playing a 3-5-2. Are we going to get overrun in the midfield again? What's going to happen here? But give credit to those players for bouncing back from a very poor performance last week and putting in a good shift today.
Yeah. And in terms of a couple negatives maybe in personnel, but a lot of people criticising Ndombele and Harry Kane for their performances today. What was your assessment on those two?
Oh, I mean, it's 7 games now, no goals for Kane in the Premier League. He's just kind of on the wrong side of the inch right now, and he's pressing. He's pressing for that goal because like nobody likes to be criticized, nobody likes to have their commitment questioned, and he's brought all those kind of questions on himself with what went on in the summer. So I'm not defending him, but he just needs to get on the score sheet because he's just pressing that little bit, But do
you think he was more involved today than maybe in the past 5 games?
He was more involved today, but when you look at the relationship between him and Son going forward, it really feels like they've gone from what at this time last year was clearly last year, the first 5-6 weeks of the season, that's an absolute anomaly what they were doing together. But they really have lacked that chemistry. They've gone from having what seemed to be a telepathic relationship to not speaking the same language, so to speak, not looking for one another, not knowing where each other are going to be. And I don't know if that is a product of a change in management, if there's just some growing pains that are being had right now. I don't know if there is a fracture in the relationship between the two players. It's really hard to say, but I think once Kane breaks the egg, he'll be fine. But he just needs to get that one over the line, which is, it's really kind of shocking that he hasn't got on the score sheet yet. But he wasn't as bad as people are saying.
No, yeah, that's why I think everyone's. I've seen a lot of criticism for Kane. I don't think it was great, but another day that back heel for Lo Celso. Lo Celso should have buried that. He had a great ball for Son, where Son put it just wide, right in front of goal. There's he could have had 2 assists and he could have had a goal if if things were on a different day. And I just think it was an improvement on what we had seen previously. But let's move on from Kane. When you look at Tongi. He got taken off on 17 minutes for Lo Celso. What did you make of Tongi's performance? He's kind of blown hot and cold so far this season, but do you think he deserved? Do you think he should have lasted as long as he did really today? Or how do you think he was playing?
Oh man, I feel like he was working hard for the team. He might be the worst aerial defender that I've ever seen in professional football. Like, he's an absolute zero in the air, it was nice to see him get played a little bit further up the pitch, although it didn't really translate today. I feel like usually what I'm used to seeing from Ndombele is, a lack of work rate, but brilliance on the ball and brilliance in possession, brilliance playing through balls, brilliance, on the offensive side. But it seemed like, okay, his work rate was all right, but he was kind of getting lost. And that one play where he got played in and he was all alone and his first touch was just a little heavy and angled the ball in towards the defense. That would probably be a good way to that would be like a little bit of a microcosm of what happened with Tanguy today. I'm not sure if he's done much to solidify his place in the team. I'm not sure. That that would be one area that we could have improved for sure, is in that number 10 spot, whether it be moving Lucas centrally if Bergwijn comes back healthy after the international break, whether it be giving Brian Hill a chance to play in that number 10 spot, who knows. Lo Celso could also provide some options there as well, but he's just such a frustrating player, and I'm really trying hard not to look at it through the lens of his price tag and his salary, his weekly wage and whatnot. But we simply aren't getting enough out of a player who it's just coming to a point now where he's not going to come good, is he? I don't know how much more time we can give him and defend him and say, yeah, we just need to give him the right frame of mind. Just doesn't look like it's happening for him at Spurs, but he
had an off day, but I agree with you. He was trying, and hopefully, if he keeps putting in a similar amount of effort, then it can go right. I just felt like his touch was all over the place today. Even that moment you talked about when he broke down the left-hand side, he took a heavy touch. That was very frustrating. But I actually thought, not going off then, Ndombele, his substitute Lo Celso had a decent cameo when he came on. He looked pretty lively for those final 20 minutes, and I know he should have scored, but I actually thought his cameo was decent. So maybe he could be someone coming in.
He should have scored, yeah.
It seems like we've got a nucleus of players in this squad right now that when they do get a chance to put a shot on net and test the goalkeeper, they have a really hard time hitting the net, whether it's Bergwijn or Lo Celso or even Kane right now or Lucas. We've just got so many players who, when they get into that position where it's a big chance, they're squandering it. We created 3 big chances today and we missed all 3 of them. So, it's really.
Do you know what?
I don't know what Lo Celso was doing.
I think that's there's silver lining in that, because the fact that we're creating these chances, I take a lot of hope from that, and faith from that, because we opened up Villa a few times today. You mentioned the 3 big chances there, and obviously you talk about the goals as well. And isn't it nice to see us actually open up a Premier League team time and time again? And yes, we're not taking the chances, and football's about winning the game. It doesn't matter how many chances you have. Sometimes you just got to win the game. We saw that with Jose last year. We'd have a couple of chances and we'd take them. But are you hopeful now going into Newcastle, Everton and United? And obviously we've got a European fixture as well. Would you stay with this same team, Cody? Do you think this formula should stay as it is going into that Newcastle game? Or would you change it up in any way?
If I was going to change it up, if we end up with a fully healthy squad, I think I would move Lucas into the number 10 and play Steven Bergwijn out front, just because Lucas, he really showed that he could be a very strong player in the middle of the pitch, and him and Kane last season, especially in the month of March, when Jose first moved Lucas more centrally, they had a nice little thing going where they were able to progress the ball and play some nice 1-2s and feed off one another that way. So I just don't think that Tanguy offers enough consistency at this point, and I it's tough because you wonder if he could just if you give Tanguy another couple of games starting and get his I don't even know if it's a fitness issue anymore, but if there was ever going to be a chance of a breakthrough, then it would be worth it. But he's just hasn't really given enough reason to justify his position in the team, you know. And so if we did end up with a fully healthy squad, I think that would be the only change that I would look
Do you
to
think
make.
with these changes? So we saw it with Mourinho last season, constantly changing the centre back pairing. They couldn't form, partnerships over the long run. I believe a winning football team has lots of little partnerships down the wings in the centre, whether it's Pierre and Skip, Romero and Dyer, Emerson and Lucas Moura. Do you think that Dele Alli had quite a long time, quite a few games in that position, and now he's been pulled out? Tangai's gone into that position. We've won the game. He hasn't set the world alight with his performance. How much does chopping and changing affect the likes of Kane and Son? Because how are we going to create that telepathy without having some consistency? Because constant chopping and changing systems and formations, the top teams don't always do that. And I just worry that if we keep going throughout the season without staying true to one style of play and one system and the selection being consistent, I worry that, chop and change is not healthy for us. I like the fact the back four has found its feet, and that probably will be the back four moving forward. Tanganga doesn't look like he's going to get his position back at the moment. I like the fact that Pierre and Skip have cemented that position hopefully now. So as the back six sorts itself out, Son takes care of himself. Kane looks like he's going to start again. He had a good game today, I think. How much is chopping and changing? I mean, Nuno's got a difficult job, hasn't he? Because that particular position there seems to be the position that everyone talks about the most, that position behind Kane. You think Moura in there would be a good shout. If Bergwijn's fit, you put him out wide. And I think that's a good shout too. I agree with you. And Moura showed that last season under Jose. In that position, he can create and he can cause damage and he can run on. But my worry is chop and change. But I guess that's why Nuno needs time, right? And that's why a lot of people say, Nuno out. But isn't this the bit where he experiments? Isn't this the bit where he finds out which team is the best team or the first 11? I mean, are you on for Nuno having more time, or do you think this was have you been Nuno out, or where do you sit with the whole Nuno thing?
Well, firstly, in terms of the chopping and changing, I think that's something that is dependent upon the results. If you're losing matches like we've seen, and you're having not just losing but having capitulations like we've seen in the Premier League the last 3 games, that forces the manager's hand. You don't have a choice, and I think it exposes the depth of the squad. And especially with us having Thursday night games to play as well, and League Cup matches. Son, Kane, Højbjerg, Lloris, Romero, these guys cannot play every game. If we go down that route like we did last year, we're going to be coming to the end of the season with an exhausted, depleted, injured squad. We're going to be sitting with no cups, and we're probably going to be looking at 7th or worse in the Premier League. So it is about trying to strike the perfect balance in putting out a team that's strong enough to get the job done, but also maintaining those partnerships that you speak of. As far as Nuno, look, I don't think anybody in their right mind would have wanted to sack Jose Mourinho and knowing that we would bring in Nuno. But I don't think that Nuno is the answer for Spurs right now, but you can't treat managers, you can't treat people, you can't run your business that way where you give a manager 6 games to figure something out that is clearly, so riddled with problems. It would just be so unfair to Nuno, and I think it would hurt us in terms of who we want to appoint as our next manager. If you're sitting there and you're a Gallardo or you're a Ten Hag or a Potter or even like a Thomas Frank, who I think would be a decent shout, and you see Nuno get shown the door after 6 Premier League matches, well, I don't think it would be a particularly attractive position for me to come in. Like, it's one thing, it's a big job, and we're in a bit of a bad way. You have to give them a little bit more time, that's for sure. Listen, if we get to Christmas and we're seeing a lot of results like we saw in September, then questions they need to be asked, that's for sure. But for right now, I mean, you can't afford to, because Nuno is a bridge manager. He's the manager who's meant to get us to the next guy, and that next guy isn't ready right now. And sacking Nuno doesn't do much to attract that next manager either. So I think for now you have to just let Nuno go. And if the deficiencies of the squad result in us having a poor season, that's the way it is. The reality is there's a lot of deadwood in this squad still, despite the clear out, the relative clear out that we had in the summer. I thought we did a good job moving on players that needed to go for various reasons. But some of the players that we moved on are Premier League capable players, and we haven't replaced them with Premier League capable players. So it's not exactly fair to be expecting Nuno to wave a magic wand over this squad that is weaker in my mind than it was last year, especially attacking wise, and just get us into the top 4 or into the top 6. I think a little bit of patience needs to be exercised at this point. But I don't begrudge anybody for wanting Nuno out, because I don't think he was on anybody's radar as a proper choice, a top manager for this job.
Pochettino wasn't on many people's radar, was he? And he had a difficult start. But yeah, completely accept your point on time. And we're 2 points off third at the moment. If Man City and Liverpool draw, going 2 points off third into the second international, Brett, I think most people would have taken that.
Probably, but yeah, it's so tight anyway. Cody, always great to see you and speak to you as always after every Spurs game. Nice to see you as always, especially after a win. And we'll see you again soon.
All right, guys. Great job as always. Come on,
thank you, man.
Glory,
thanks, Cody. Come on.
Take care.
Glory. Love it from Cody Mack. Who we got on next? First time caller.
Oh, recognise this.
Recognise this one. What's up? You haven't he's muted yourself. Come on.
He's on mute.
Unmute, mate.
I was going to say, are you going to make the same joke every time I call in?
Are you not gonna unmute yourself every time you call in?
He does it by purpose, just to see our reactions, doesn't he?
Touche, mate. Touche.
Smiling.
Yeah.
Sid, you know, every time we've won this game, either me or you have been in the stadium. So apart from, both of us haven't been within the studio.
Correct. We haven't both been in the stadium with Spurs have won. Yeah.
No way.
Crazy, isn't it?
When we both went, it was 3-0 Palace was our first game, then 3-0 Chelsea, then 3-1 Arsenal. And all the other games, I think we might be unbeaten without us. what other game except for Passos, maybe?
Yeah, exactly.
That was the only game. Passos away. And by the way, that Ren point today ain't looking too bad.
Yeah, 2-0 against PSG. Not bad, is
it? PSG today, 2-0. And we got a draw against it. Everyone's saying, Ren, what about...
lose today?
They lost to Ren, 2-0. Who we drew to.
Away, surely.
Anyway, let's move on to the game today.
Yeah, I was sitting behind Brian Daigle and Danny Kiriakou at the game, and I said exactly word for word what you just said. Not too bad drawing against Ren.
It looks a lot better today. First of all, protest-wise, was there anyone there? Like, anything happen?
Oh yeah, there was thousands there. It was absolutely mental. ENIC are leaving tomorrow, apparently.
No one. I don't know. I haven't seen anything. So
there was about 15 people standing at the corner. Brian Daigle being one of them. Nicky Cruz, Paul Hinch. These characters.
Oh, okay.
But everyone there was just all pissed off that no one was turning up.
Right, fair enough. I can understand that. We need more people going to these things if we're going to make a difference. That's the truth. So that's unfortunate.
Yeah, people were walking past going like, "Oh yeah, Levy out," and then they were like, "Oh, so come stand with us." Then and they just walked off.
Is what it is. But look, looking at the game today, obviously we won 2-1.
3 points, baby.
Yeah, exactly. Look, we could all put a smile on our face. Maybe get those samosas out, as Josh would say.
Yeah, did he bring the samosas today?
Yeah, where are the samosas?
I got one here. Look, special one.
What did you think of the performance in general? What was the feeling inside the ground? What would you think?
I don't think it was like the greatest performance, but I think it was definitely a step in the right direction. I think structurally it was a lot better. I think we actually had a midfield today. Skippy and Højbjerg I thought were immense, both of them. And it shows us now, I think we've got a blueprint kind of to move forward into the season. I think Emerson Royale really announced himself to the Tottenham faithful today, in my opinion. And even Reguilon. I thought Reguilon had a really good game. Romero had a really good game. I even thought Dyer was good today. So I think there were a lot of good performances on the pitch today, but again, there were some not so great performances. But what really annoys me is that we just keep persisting with this long ball madness. So too many long balls today, in my opinion. Way too many.
I didn't notice that today.
Not as many as Villa.
Do you
but
notice
yeah,
that?
there
I
was
don't
a
know. I
few.
didn't notice too many long balls.
I didn't, to be honest. I didn't notice it, Ben.
Especially in the
you're
first half.
stadium.
Yeah, first half we weren't. Yeah, maybe that's probably true.
yeah.
One of them nearly paid off though. Dyer played a great through ball to Sonny, who probably should have done better. But yeah, I don't know. I thought our pressing was a lot stronger today. That was the main thing. And again, it was very similar to first half of the season where first half maybe wasn't the best, but second half we really improved, didn't we? And I think we finished the game really strongly.
We did. I mean, those last 5 minutes, I was not worried at all. The way we were shithousing in the corner flag, absolutely brilliant. Heung-min Son today was a different level. Level to anyone on that pitch. I mean, I think he's getting a bit more kind of confidence to take on that talismanic role. Is talismanic even a word? I don't know.
Maybe.
But talismanic role within the team, and I think that he's really growing in stature within that team, and I think that you can really see a bit of leadership qualities in him now, and I think he's grabbing games by the scruff of the neck. He's trying to take the ball, trying to take the game to the other team, and can't really say the same about Harry Kane.
Yeah, you could. I can agree with that. I can definitely agree with that. In terms of when it comes to Harry Kane, I did think it was a bit of an improvement from the first 5 games today. And on another day, he could have had a couple of assists. Lovely back heel to Lo Celso and stuff like that. Look, he did look still a bit off it. I would say no more than a bit. He still looked off it, but I would compared to his own standards.
Getting there slowly, isn't he?
But I did think it was an improvement. I think it was a lot more involved.
Yeah, but look,
I didn't think it was terrible.
He slow, doesn't he? He always starts
Tim,
slow.
I don't mean to be rude, but apart from the last couple of games where he's been absolutely dreadful, you say like on another day he could have got this, and another day he could have got that, but at the end of the day he didn't get that. And yeah, I know that back heel to Lo Celso probably could have got a goal, but ultimately I don't think he was good enough today. Yes, it is a step in the right direction. Yes, he was more involved in the game today.
That's all I'm saying.
Yes, it was much better
First
than it
half,
has
he
been in the
skived
last
one.
couple of weeks, but still I don't think it's good enough.
I think the thing.
I think he's getting there.
With Kane, the thing
there.
is, as soon as he starts banging in Premier League goals, we'll start seeing the old Harry Kane again. We saw in the first half he skived it. I don't know how he skived that shot. I mean,
I think if he put in this performance last season, I don't think anyone says anything. But because he's on a bad form, he tried to leave. Then if everyone focuses on what he didn't do, I think that's true. But look, he still wasn't amazing. I'll definitely say that.
Harry Kane
There's a lot of improvement.
Is a finisher, guys, and yes, he can assist as well. Yes, last season we sat back with that Jose style of football, and basically it was Kane to Son each time. But we don't sit as deep now, do we? Today we didn't sit deep, so there isn't that space in front of him.
Exactly.
Is he now has to get involved, higher up the pitch. You can't sit back on the halfway line and spread balls because we don't have 10 behind the ball or 7 behind the ball, which is what we were doing last season. Now we're actually up the pitch. So he has to get involved in that jungle, in that battle, in the middle of the park or up front. So
I thought he was working hard though.
I think for me, Kane is just a couple of goals away from just getting on a bit of a streak. And I think today he should have scored. He definitely should have set up Lo Celso should have scored or squared it to him, and then he should have scored his own one-on-one.
Yeah.
In the first half, he skives that. Harry Kane normally sticks that on target at least, if not skive it. So I think with him, the rustiness or the bitterness or the whole sulkiness is starting to drip off him, and I think we just got to stick with him. But when
we got no choice. We got no choice. We have to
fit.
stick with him. He's a Tottenham legend at the end of the day, Harry Kane, and as much as he's performing badly and stuff like that, of course you need to stick with him. Of course you do.
Lack of alternative is also there. But look, talk about Ndombele today, because a lot of people were saying he didn't have a very good game, which I agree with. But what was the feeling inside the ground? What do you think of him?
Well, the feeling inside the ground was not much love for him today at all. Every time he got the ball, he kind of lost it. It was bouncing off him. His control was completely off. His touch was off. But what I want to say about Tanguy Ndombele, I thought he was actually trying today. So that's definitely a positive. But his quality on the ball was terrible today. It was a really bad game from him.
Yeah.
Really bad game.
Unlike Ndombele, where that's his problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
Even when he was one-on-one, how is he like that heavy touch?
Yeah.
You never expect
terrible.
that from Tanguy. You'd expect that from, a DM or, the soft feet of Tanguy just weren't there today, were they? His passing was off.
Nah.
You know?
And I was calling for Lo Celso to come on quite early on in the second half because Ndombele just was not getting into this game. And, you know, Nuno took his time to bring him on. But when he did bring him on, I thought he was excellent, Lo Celso, when he came on today.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was a really good cameo for him, wasn't it? And he probably should have scored. I mean, I don't know what he was doing passing it in that situation. But other than that, I thought it was a really strong cameo. So maybe we'll see. And look, we didn't play Dele Alli at all. Do you think I was a bit of a message from him?
I don't know if it was a
Didn't seem-
message, but it definitely should. It should be a message now because he doesn't put in enough of a shift, doesn't add to the team enough, and we've seen that all season. And as soon as we take him out, you know, even Ndombele didn't provide enough to the team today, but we had Skip and Højbjerg there working like absolute Trojan workhorses, and that's what we need in the middle of the park. It's funny that you actually have put in a midfield and we actually have a performance. And we actually get 3 points.
And this is why we killed Nuno for the Arsenal game because where was Skip? You know, where was he? Was he? You know, also on the bench, but come on, man. This guy is like Pierre's best mate. He's Pierre's tag team. He's the guy that tags him in and out.
You saw a lot better Pierre, didn't you, with Skip alongside him?
Pierre's a much better player, but the team's better with Skip. The team's better with Skip as well, not just Pierre. I think the whole team. But the balance from attack to defence is much better. He says it in his interview here on Sky. He says, you know, we just need to get the balance right, and we did that today. And we need to get the defensive and attacking part of the game right, and that's what we want to improve on. So it looks like Nuno's made the mistake, and now he's talking about the mistakes he's made in the past, and now he's got it right. But you know, at this level, you shouldn't be making those sort of mistakes, and that's the worry.
Yeah, and then in terms of Nuno, after those 3 horrific displays and defeats, at least was there a bit of light at the end of the tunnel today for him? Do you reckon, or is still, you know, a lot to be worked on?
Of course, there's a lot to be worked on, but there is a bit of light at the end of the tunnel. I think, like I said before, I think that we've got a structure now. We've got a base to work on. We've got the kind of partnerships all over the pitch now that look like they can work together. So it's all about Nuno keeping this kind of feeling, keeping these players on the park, and keeping a bit of consistency about it. We can't keep chopping and changing systems week in, week out. We need to keep to this system now. We need to move forward, and we need to keep these players that are playing well on the pitch. We need to persist with Emerson. We need to persist with Skip and Højbjerg. We need to persist with one of Tanguy and Lo Celso with them in the middle three. And the front three today, Harry Kane on the front, Hugminson on the left, Lucas Moura on the right. And it gives us options now when Bergwijn comes back as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So yeah, look, positive, and West Ham got a last-minute defeat, so all happy days. Didn't that stop you getting 5 points? I think, didn't it?
We're above them. Whee!
Exactly, all good. Oh, Liverpool just scored.
Yeah, I remember when being above West Ham used to be a given. What happened to that?
Liverpool just scored, by the way.
Yeah, I can't believe we're celebrating being above West Ham.
1-0 Liverpool. Sadio Mane with a goal.
Yeah, 1-0.
So there you go. All right,
so that means we go.
Where do we go?
We go. Well, no, we don't go above City, obviously, because
No.
that means City are just a point ahead of us. 7 games into the season, eh?
Yeah, look at that. Just a
Pep,
point behind City.
Point behind
Who would have
City,
thought?
man. Let everyone know.
Who would have thought?
Exactly. And by the way, where are all the Arsenal fans today? That's what I want to know. Where are all the Arsenal fans today?
They're all taking taking a big group selfie after their point against Brighton.
Yeah, they're
exactly. Exactly. You know what I mean? Like,
they've gone
coming
underground,
up
man.
in the last week, all the Arteta outs are turning to Arteta in. How long till it turns back?
Do you know what, lads? I'm scrolling down the table. I can't see Arsenal, man. Where are they?
Where
man?
are they?
Oh, they're in the bottom half. Oh, yeah. I got
fine.
page
That's
2.
all right.
Page 2, man. I ain't got data for that crap, man. Forget that, man.
Love it. All right, Ben. Nice to see you as always. We'll see you tomorrow. See you in a bit.
Wait.
Oh, bring him on. Bring him back on. What did you say? Yeah, go on.
Big up to Josh in the studio today, man.
There we
Big
go.
up to Josh in the studio.
Cheers, pal.
Absolutely love it, and looking forward to seeing more of him in the studio. That's for sure.
Samosas all round, mate. One for you as well.
100%. Big yourself up,
Cheers,
bro.
Ben. Have a good
Nice
weekend.
Up the Spurs.
All right.
Well, he's had a good weekend, hasn't
He's
he?
had a very good
Have
weekend.
a good
Look
week
at that.
now. Yeah.
Exactly. We can have a 2 week. We can enjoy the
Yeah,
international break. We don't have to mull over.
Yeah.
I don't have to talk about a Spurs battering for the
Samosa
next
party,
week.
man.
You know what I
Samosa
mean?
party,
Every day.
man. That's what we need.
That's what it's all about. All right. Who's got? We got Wes the King lined up. Let's get Wes on. How you doing, Wes? Can you hear us? Is he there? Has he crashed?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. I can hear him now.
Yeah. I can hear
Big
you.
up, Wes.
Yeah. What's up, Wes? You all right?
How you guys doing?
Yeah, we're doing good, mate.
Yeah, 3 points, man.
Yeah, I'm all right. Hey, we got 3 points.
Feels good.
Yeah. Only Everybody played good. Kane, he had a lot more better chances than other games, but to me, he was probably the poorest one out of everybody, and that's just me being
Worse
honest.
than
That's just
Ndombele.
what it is. He still can't. You got to get that goal. And then Dembele too, yeah. But he hustled. To me, he hustled a whole lot more
He tried.
than usual. To me, he was trying a whole lot.
That's
Just that
true.
for some reason, his first touch was horrible today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
First touch,
I
but then he
agree.
had a couple chances. He had a couple chances where he like get one good spin, and he would be straight at the goal. So he played a little bit better. I like him at that cam position. I think he just got to grow a little bit more into it, maybe probably a little bit harder. But to me, he played decent. But everybody else was fantastic. Royale, I think this was his best game so far in the
Sorry,
Tottenham
wait,
shirt.
sorry.
He was really
You're breaking
down
up. Do you
that
mind?
right side.
Just reconnecting? We'll try someone else first. Just try just reconnecting. We'll get you back on. Sorry, you're just breaking up. Apologies about that. Just lagging a bit. Just disconnect to reconnect. We'll get you back on. We'll get him on. We'll get back on. Let's get someone else for the meantime. Josh RG. Yes,
Hello,
Josh. How are we
boys.
doing? Hello.
Hello,
Look at that
boys.
smile.
Hello,
Look
Josh.
at that.
Come on, I've got the
You-
talisman. I've got the little talisman with me today. I've got my
There we
little
go.
daughter.
Hello, lucky
Yeah,
Josh.
that's good.
Hey.
Happy with the 3 points.
Yeah,
How we
she
doing,
looks
boys?
happy.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, look. You predicted you went from a loss to a draw to a win throughout Friday.
I said a 2-1 scrappy win if we were going to win, and it was a 2-1.
Well, was
So
it scrappy though? Was it scrappy, Josh? What do you think of the performance?
A tiny bit. I think there was some drastic improvement in that team today. Like we improved where we needed to improve. I think us defending set pieces from corners and stuff. We were brilliant in that sense. We defended set pieces and corners really, really well.
Yeah, we did. We headed up most of out.
Do you know what? I've always been behind Dyer as well, and a lot of people give him stick, but he had an absolute blinder today. He made one small little cock up, but he rectified it. But you can't. It's not fair to penalise just him for that mistake. It was the whole defence there.
Agreed.
But what mattered was when they equalised, we straight away bounced back straight away. Yeah. That's the Spurs that we used to see, and we need to see that more often.
We reacted.
Yeah. Skip was an absolute peach today. What a game he had! I don't care what anyone people can sit here and slate Skip, but I think he was brilliant today.
I don't think
Who's slaying Skip? Yeah, who's slaying Skip? He was brilliant.
Skip, you're not watching.
No, a lot of people are like, well, was he really that good? Yes, he was.
Mate, that
Yes,
overhead
he
clearance.
was.
That overhead clearance.
Overhead clearance was
1-on-1.
Romero as well. This is what I'm saying. Romero and Skip both need to start every game.
Yeah.
Every
I agree.
game.
Yeah.
Emerson Royale, what a player.
Yeah.
He really made his presence felt today.
Josh,
I
how
think he
much was
brilliant.
Emerson at fault for the goal, would you say? Because obviously it came from that side and he was caught in no man's land. I mean, how would you break down the blame for the goal? Because, you know, we're on a high.
The blame's got to be shared equally. The fact that they got to that position in the first place, you have to blame the whole defensive back line, in my opinion. But again, we bounced back when it mattered.
Yeah.
The Viking himself, Højbjerg, what a goal that was. Yeah. I'll take that goal any day of the week.
The finish.
Kane was a little bit out of his depth, if you ask me, but he definitely showed signs of improvement. I'm a little bit annoyed he didn't get the goal. He had some clear-cut chances that he should have scored. Same with Son as well. But Lucas Moura with the best vertical in the game, like just finds himself in the space.
Josh, can I make a point on Kane? When you stick him up top, he occupies defenders. So today, Mings, doesn't matter which defender you are. If Harry Kane's on your shoulder, you're going to worry about it because you know that man only needs one chance. By keeping him up top, it occupies and creates space for runners like Son and Moura and Co to come in.
I agree.
So
I agree.
do you think he's better suited up front, or do you think he needs to start dropping back? I mean, what's your view on Kane's position?
I think he needs to find himself in the space, man. He needs to find himself in the space. There were a few chances where the ball was played across the floor.
So would you rather he have a free role where he can move around and drop deep, or do you think he should? Because a lot of people debate
I
that,
always,
whether he should be
I always
stuck up.
said that when I come on the other day, I suggested that Harry Kane and Son they play together and they both just swap in and out. And I think that's what should have happened today. They should have had that partnership where they both fall in, they both fall out, and they make chances. This is what we saw last season from them both, and they were making chances and they were scoring.
Yeah.
But
fair enough.
we didn't really see much of that today.
No.
all I'm going to say as well is I think we can't have it both ways. We can't have defensive football and attacking football, but I think we need to be a little bit more reactive when we're pressing up. We need to get the whole team behind them, because Aston Villa were getting 6 at the back before we even had 3. So we need to be a little bit more reactive on that front. But nonetheless, the game was a good game today. It showed signs of improvement. I still think Nuno's on very, very thin ice. And if things don't improve drastically by Christmas, he's going to be gone. But it was a sign of good things to come. And I'm confident now that we can take this win after the international break and start banging goals in left, right and centre and actually getting some results that we deserve.
Do you think that pragmatic tag for Nuno, do you think that's fair? I mean, do you think today's performance, I wouldn't call it pragmatic. I'd call it smart, the way we saw the game out.
It was smart. It was smart. Like I said, there were some drastic improvements made. Nuno did what Nuno needed to do, and he made sure that the team bounced back. The confidence within the team was high today. You could see that the way that we were getting stuck in left, right, and centre. But again, that confidence has got to be apparent every single week that we play. We are Tottenham Hotspur, man. Like we're not some mid-table team. We should be contending for top 4, top 6 every season.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Agree,
it's getting
agree.
the balance, isn't it?
And
It's all about balance.
Yeah, and in terms of the new boys, Emerson, you mentioned before. What about Romero as well? So making his second start in the Premier League.
Absolutely quality. Like he covered the near post really, really well. Like when we thought that they were going to score, Romero just chests it out of play. Like just makes himself big.
Class.
We need that centre back pairing. Like just Romero in centre back. I don't know necessarily about Dyer as a partnership, but today they both performed really, really well, and I think Romero just showed how class he really is. And I think if we get performances like that from him week in, week out, that £47 million price tag that we paid on him is going to be apparent.
Yeah, I completely agree. All right, who was your man of the match? It must have only can go to one man, can't it?
There's a few performances that I can sort of pinpoint. I would say Son just for the fact that he was getting himself up front, but he didn't score. If I'm going to give the man of the match to anyone, he needs to go to someone that really mattered when the game wasn't going our way, and I think Skip is the person for that. I think Oliver Skip had a blinder again today, and I think he's my man of the match.
Do you know, it's funny you say Skip, because players that don't assist or score don't always get man of the match, but it's good to recognise.
Well, he was pushing up when it mattered, and he was pushing back when it mattered. Like that's what we need from that in midfield.
Yeah. No, it's good to see, mate, because you always get your goal scorers and assists and attacking players get man of the match. But that's a good shout with Skip. Skip, Højbjerg, we've obviously got a goal.
Definitely a future Spurs captain in the making with Skip. I think.
Yeah, and because he's local as well, it always helps, doesn't he? They understand. He understands him and Pierre have such a great understanding. You can't create partnerships and that telepathic kind of communication without giving players time to actually do that over 4, 5, 6, 7 games.
Yeah.
And hopefully this is the template now that Nuno sticks to and doesn't chop and change it too much. I think the key question mark is who plays behind Kane. And there's so much debate around that, whether it's Man City 1-1. Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah, Man City have scored as 1-1.
Man City have 1-1. Wow. So again, we're still 2 points off third.
It's got to be Son that plays behind him. And the thing is, if we decide that we need to bench Kane at any point, I think Moore is the perfect person to fall into that position, because he can play up front. We have seen it, but I think we just need to stick with Kane for now and see where we are come January. If come January he hasn't got at least,
you'd put Son you'd put Son in that 10 role, would you? Just
behind him,
the striker,
just behind him.
Okay. To be fair, today Son did pick up the ball and he was venturing left and right. He was ticking the game. He was finding passes. So yeah, it could be a future position for Son. You need Bergwijn fit to fill the left, and you need more on the right.
Well, I mean, you say that even Brian Gill, mate. Like Brian Gill, when he performed, we're yet to see him perform excellent in the Premier League. I don't think we really see much of him in the Premier League, but in the games that he has played for us, he has found himself in pockets of space.
I just wonder if Nuno is building Hill physically, mentally, and he's going to bring him in more.
That's all well and good, but Nuno's not a long-term replacement, and Gill's not going to. I think Gill's he's in his teens, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like, he's
20, I think.
Is he 20?
If Nuno's, if we go on and beat Newcastle and West Ham, should we be looking at Nuno as a long-term replacement? Because Poch came in without a reputation. There's a reason Nuno signed a contract that is the same length as what Poch's contract was at PSG. Because with
ultimately what was going to happen was that
2
Nuno
years.
was going to go at the end of that contract and we were going to bring Poch back.
Yeah.
That's the way it is. I don't see it as a long-term replacement, but for right now we need to get behind him because there is no one else currently out
Well,
there.
the club's more important than anyone, isn't it?
The club is more important. There is no one bigger than the crest on the shirt.
Do you feel that performance today was the club was more important than anyone? Do you think that performance today was a club? I felt like that was a performance for the badge, for the manager, for the fans. You know, there wasn't too many selfish performances in there. I felt like everyone chipped in, and it was a team performance. I think
sometimes you need to be a bit selfish. But ultimately you have to think about at the end of the day, the result is about the team and not just the individual player.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of players now go for man of the match performances when really that's not what it's about. You need to go for a team performance.
Yeah.
And I think today we showed that.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you very much for having
Josh,
me on, boys. Anyway,
always a
as
pleasure, my
always,
friend.
3 points, up the Spurs, bring on West Ham. Let's go.
That's it. Confident.
Got Newcastle.
Come
first,
on.
on.
Yeah, we'll get
Come
that.
on, Josh. Love it. Absolutely love it.
Newcastle should be a given, but West
Well,
Ham,
we'll
come
see,
on.
mate.
Let's
Last
go.
season.
Yes, let's go. Come, boys. Up the Spurs.
That's the energy, mate. That's the energy.
All right.
Come on.
Love that. Absolutely
Brilliant.
love that from Josh
From Josh,
RG.
yeah.
Let's get Wes back on the line. Let's get him back. Hey, Wes. How you doing, mate?
How you guys doing?
A lot better. I'm good. How you're?
I went to the phone.
You moved to the phone. I can see the quality's upped as well. Yeah. Look, 3 points today, Wes. Were you happy with what you saw? Was it a good performance, or did you feel like maybe, was it scrappy? Did we deserve it? Because a lot of people said about our wins early in the season that they were lucky and it was only 1-0, didn't create any chances. What did you make of it today?
I think we played well. I think we played very well. We got 3 points. We played a whole lot more hustle, a whole lot more determination. The only player that, like I said before when I was on just a couple minutes ago, was that I think Kane just didn't have the greatest game, but he had a whole lot more chances to score and to actually get that first goal. So that's one good positive to take out of Kane. But Kane was probably, next to Dembele, probably one of the more poor of the starting 11. But everybody else played fantastic. And one that impressed me was Romero and Royale. Both of them played excellent. I think Romero is going to definitely be the starting center back from now on. That's like no doubt now, because it's just clear that he goes at, like, I played center back also when I used to play in high school. And he goes, when you don't let a player, the option player, go ahead and have a chance at goal. He goes directly at them and doesn't even give them a chance, which is what we always needed, because we always had players that will back up and allow them to get that chance to shoot the ball.
That's why I kept saying to Josh, what I love about Romero is someone proactive in his defending, not just blocking shots and making clearances, but actually trying to win the ball before it gets to the strikers and stuff like that, and being aggressive. And that's exactly what Romero does, isn't it? There's proof of that. And in fact, it got him in trouble with the goal, but with the goal we conceded, it got him in trouble. But that's what he does, isn't it? And sometimes the positives outweigh the negatives.
Yeah. But usually 9 times out of 10, he's going to get that tackle. He did a couple great tackles where it looked like they were going to get right past him, but boom, he got a foot on the ball. He was able to block their chance. Also, Royale, he played excellent. He went up and down that right side. He was going into the attack. He played very good defense to me. He was very speedy. I think that's just going to come with more confidence. Sooner or later, he's going to do that one-on-one, and he's going to get past the player and get inside the box. He did it like a couple times this game. But I think it's going to happen even more, and he's going to be even more dangerous the more he gets used to the players he's playing with. So I was very happy with him. Lucas, of course, going up and down the right side as well, doing what he does. I think in Dembele, he hustled. He hustled a lot better this game. I don't think we should give him too much slack or hit or whatever, because I think he played well. Just that his touch wasn't faithful to him today. And he had a couple missed passes that he messed up, but he had a couple chances where he did a great turn on one play where he got inside the box and created the chance. He had a couple great moments where we were passing by defenders. So I think we play. I think we keep him in that camera a little bit and let him get used to it, see what he can do next game. But I also think that we could, of course, put Lucas in the middle. We could, of course, put Lo Celso right there, or we could put Hill. Or we can put Hill on the wing and then put Lucas in on the middle. It's like several things we could do, but I feel like Dembele didn't have a great game, but I think he played well. He hustled a whole lot more, so that's what I liked out of it. And I think he just get used to it later on.
Yeah, I can agree with that. In terms of how we're looking as a team under Nuno, he was under a lot of pressure for this game to really get a result and get a good performance. A lot of people even saying if we would have lost today, he wouldn't have seen the end of the international break. A lot of people saying that. Where do you stand after that performance with Nuno? Do you think he still has, people saying he's lost the players already and all that kind of stuff? What do you think about it?
I don't think he lost the players. I think that was just some bad form and some bad tactics on his side, especially during the Arsenal game. I think he got it completely wrong with the way he had it set up, especially the players out there. Dele Ali, that's it for him. Like I said that before, that is it for him. For some reason, he is just not it. He doesn't hustle hard enough. They got him. They put him at CDM for a little bit, and he ain't defensive, so he can't really do that. And then when you put him up forward, he can't really do anything forward, and that was going against lower opposition, and he still couldn't really get anything through. I think he scored a goal, but still like he's just not there. I think he's confident to move on from this time.
Wes, who Newcastle away next? Who should go in that number 10 role for you? So, I mean, obviously you're saying Delhi doesn't look like he's going to get his chance back. I mean, who would you put in moving forward into that position?
I would put either Lucas Moore in the middle and put Hill or Winsberg around, get some healthy, put him on the wing, one of them two. Most likely Hill. I really want to see Hill in the Premier League game and actually have a chance. Mm-hmm. Or you put Hill in the middle and keep Lucas Moore on the right because he has I think he's starting to build a good relationship with Royale. I think they can really do some dangerous things together. Because both of them speak Portuguese, right?
Yeah.
So I think that would work. That would work very well with both of them on that right side.
Do you think putting Hill in there?
I believe I want to either see Lo Celso in the middle, or I want to see Hill or Lucas Moore, one of them three.
Yeah. And what's your opinion on Emerson and Tanganga? Who goes right back for you in the next game?
Oh, that's going to be Emerson Royal. There's no doubt it's going to be Emerson Royal. Yeah. I think Tanganga, he can get, a center back spot. I think Dyer, he's still questionable. He's been playing well. He played good this game, but he can still be Dyer. So I think Tanganga can have a chance at center back. Yeah, he can have a chance at center back and partner over Romero. I would love to see how that will work because I think both of them are very strong defenders. I think Tanganga is he'll go and attack the offensive opponent before they take a shot as well, just like Romero. And I think that would be very helpful to us to go ahead and stop them from even getting a chance to even do anything. So I think I want to see that partnership also, but I'm going to let Dyer be in his spot because he's been playing well. I'm not going to have him go down even though he's been playing well, so I'm not going to do that. But I feel like that's what Tanganga has a chance at. Right back, I don't think he's going to have any chance at.
Yeah, I think, look, he's going to have to mix it up, right, with the number of games we've got coming up towards Christmas. It's the busiest part of the year, It's we've got Thursday, Sunday. So I think we're going to see a lot of chopping and changing by Nuno, depending on how he prioritises the Premier League over the ECL and domestic competitions. But I think today gave him a bit of a template in terms of the team gelling well together, little partnerships on the pitch, created loads of opportunities and chances. Probably could have won that 3 or 4-1, to be fair. So I think a lot of good positive signs today. If there was one negative from today's game, are there any negatives which you think Nuno got wrong, or substitutions, or tactics, or is there anything there you think he could have done better?
I feel like he could have put in Lo Celso a little bit earlier in Dembele, and I feel like he could have put Hill in a little bit earlier too. Because I just really, for me personally, I just really want to see Hill playing the Premier League game because I just want to see what he can do. Because even when he got on those last 2 minutes, he had one chance where he could have probably scored. I think if it was Lucas Moore who passed that or Son who passed that. When Son was when they were trying to hold the ball in the corner, just trying to kill the game. I feel like Hill could have had a chance at goal if Son passed that ball across.
Do you think with Brian Hill, just whilst we're on this point, do you think his lack of physical ability or his toughness, his strength over a Lo Celso or a Tanguy is maybe a reason Nuno looks at him and thinks, in there you might get overrun physically, you might not be at the races? Because I just wonder if Nuno thinks, is he able to survive in the jungle, right in the middle without the physical side being there? Because he seems quite, do you know what I mean? He doesn't seem as strong and well built as Tanguy and Lo Celso. Not that can make a difference. David Silva, you look at David Silva, you look at Modric, you look at certain players that can wiggle themselves out of small tight spaces. But I just wonder if Nuno has a question mark on whether he can keep up with the pace of the game, which could cost you a goal. Which could cost you a goal as well on the other end.
I think, yeah, that's probably the main reason. That's the only thing I see is why he's not playing him as much in the Premier League, because of probably that strength. And then he did say, Hill did say in one of his interviews that that's what the team has told him to do, is to build his body up, get stronger.
Yeah.
I think once he gained, get a little bit stronger, he's going to get a whole lot more minutes.
I think he'll bring him on in that 10 when we're 2-0 up or 3-0 up with 10, 15, 20 minutes to go. I think he'll bring him in a safer environment where he can exhibit his skills, and not when we're like 2-1 or 2-2 or 1-1, where you're putting a lot of pressure on the boy to deliver, and then the fan base can turn, and they could turn on Nuno for making the wrong decision. They could turn on the player. So I think he's playing it safe with him, and I think he sees a lot of potential, and he wants to build him up.
I know he has to see potential, because there's clear as potential. Even with him not being as strong as what a regular Premier League player is, the fact of his dribbling, his vision, his awareness of the field and of the pitch. I mean, and you can just see that to me, he can still play regardless in the Premier League and in the actual game in the Premier League, because he just has the skills and the fundamentals to get through it. But yes, strength-wise, I think it's probably the reason why he's probably not playing as much. He's just trying to take care of him, which is good. So he's going to grow in. He's only 20, so we got a whole bunch of games to see from him.
Yeah.
All right, Wes, always good to chat to you, my friend. Good to see you as always, and we'll see you again soon.
Take care.
Take care, my friend.
Come on, Spurs.
Come on. That has been a couple of goals at Anfield since we last spoke to you. It's Liverpool 2, Man City 2. Currently at Anfield, so it's a barnstormer there. So that's a good game.
But don't switch to it. Watch.
No, obviously keep watching us. Is there any?
Don't worry, we'll keep you posted.
Else?
We'll keep you posted. It's been Salah with 2 goals. Wow.
Salah with Salah with 1, Mane with 1, but Salah scored one of the great indivial goals you'll see this season. I think.
What a player.
De Bruyne with an equaliser, so it's 2-2 there.
Son's shoelaces, so we'll forget about him.
Let's get Phil on. Hey Phil, how you doing, my friend?
What's up, Phil?
Yeah, much better this afternoon, isn't it?
Yeah, you can definitely feel a lot better after that performance and result, can you, after the last 3 games. How much of a step in the right direction was that performance, do you think?
Definitely what we needed. I think, for me, I know you obviously talking your man and your match, but for me, Romero just certainly put me so at ease at the back. He just felt absolutely dominant there. And, the crosses were coming in, but he just felt like, this is my territory and I'm going to defend it. And, I just think if you'd had that performance from today, last week, I think we'd have had a very different story, don't you?
Yeah, especially if you add the aggression of Romero and Skip that we had today last week, I think we definitely wouldn't have been. I'm not saying we would have won, but it definitely wouldn't have been the embarrassment that it was.
Did, in the second half, we showed against Arsenal with Skip.
We won 1-0 in the second half, didn't we?
Well, we did.
But yeah,
that's probably another great point. All of the games so far, we've just drifted out in that second half. Whereas today, I thought we were better second half than we were first half. So it's like, whatever the tactics were or the fitness, it just seemed to kick in. And
did you feel like that was a bit of a Poch-like performance? We just went 1-0, and it was like a good throwback, wasn't it? Of just carrying on.
Yeah, they definitely felt today, for the first time in a little while, that they kind of played for the badge and they played for the manager. It was like, because there was the concern, we get Villa get the equaliser in 67, and my first thought was, great, here we go. This is, would I take the draw now? And I'm there going, yeah, I'll take the draw now.
You're cashing out on your bet.
they just but they just went for it, and it was like literally 4 minutes. And to be honest, once we scored, then they never looked in at Villa. I just thought we looked really dominant. And
the self-belief that I saw in that second half took me back. I was actually quite shocked. I actually thought, wow, we're not doing a Spursy here. We're not dropping heads. We're not sitting in our own half anymore. We're not trying to hold on and hit them on the counter. We actually took the game to them in the second half. That was great to see.
And we haven't seen that since Man City, have we? And
on the opening day,
by far the best game so far. But I think there's some good progress there today. And whether it was slightly different formation, it kind of feels it was, but certainly Skip, who was phenomenal, and Højbjerg, they were just in front of that back four. Just that support for them was there, wasn't it? Yeah. And then it just left everyone else to be able to go and do what they do best. So.
Yeah, and from an individual standpoint, who really impressed you today on the pitch? Who stood out for you?
Do you know what? I'd almost be struck. Normally, you go. I'll ring my brother after a game, and I'm like, I struggle to find somebody who's any good. But today, you're almost the other way. I thought Romero was phenomenal. Son was unbelievable, but Emerson as well. And I'm probably been one of those. I've doubted him the last couple of games I've seen him, but today he just looked like this is my shirt and I'm staying here. So he just looked really good. I thought he was. I thought he was top draw today.
I think he showcased his defensive and attacking abilities, and any decent right or left back in the Premier League will have a bit of both. And he showed that today. He showed he could attack. He didn't play it safe. He took risks. He got caught out a couple of times with that Lloris one where he toes it out for a corner. Yeah. But one thing I want to ask you, Phil, is we conceded 9 corners today. 8 or 9 corners today against Villa. Does that concern you anywhere? Or is that just part and parcel of defending well?
I guess it does, because they on whatever channel I watched on, they seem to do a lot of close-ups, and you had Romero marking Mings, and Mings was like 3 or 4 inches ahead of him, so you already knew you had to be really on the front foot. And yes, we defended them okay, but it's too many easy opportunities for them that I think we did, and there was just too much. I think we just needed to be able to do that, to reset and just
when I look at corners, I look at it as we've defended the box to not allow that ball to come in. So that's going to always produce corners or throw-ins, and that's a good thing because it shows we're pressing and pushing attackers out wide, or we're pushing them backwards. But when it comes to corners, we need to be able to defend them. I thought today we defended most corners really well. I thought the positioning of Dyer and all the players, even little Lucas Moura getting in on the corners. I wonder if Nuno has gone back, and this isn't a coincidental performance. It is because they've actually gone back on the training pitch and they've looked at a few areas and they've said, right, this is what we need to do better. Because if that wasn't coincidental and we did what we did because it's been because of Nuno or training or the players having a look in the mirror, that can only be a good thing. It might be a step back, losing to Arsenal and Chelsea the way we did. But this could be the 2 steps forward that the players have looked at themselves and said, you know what, we can't continue to be, the scapegoats of the press. We can't continue to be, this weak and deflate the way we have done in the last 3 games. So I was quite impressed to see how we defended corners, because that's been one of our weaknesses, is set pieces. The amount of set pieces that went in last season was incredible, just weakness.
And the one that always got me is in the Chelsea game. They had a couple of close-ups of the corners. You had Lukaku, and he was being marked by Tanguy, and you're thinking,
or Dele on Silva.
Silva. It's just but it looked like today. It looked like I'm going to fully prep, not just going to go with just see what happens. It felt that they had a little bit more drill, and the fact that. My first point is we looked better in the second half, and we were still looked solid at the back, but creating all those chances was just.
And I think you have to give credit to Nuno for that. I don't think these things just happen out the blue. No. You don't lose against Arsenal in that way and Chelsea, and then suddenly turn it on. We'll find out anyways.
Yeah, and also at 1-0 up, we missed a few chances to make it 2. We then get pegged back, 1-0. And you're thinking, what's going to happen? Is this going to be another one? But instant reaction, wasn't it? And that was really positive to see.
Momentum. We kept
pretty much as soon as we conceded, we were back on the front foot. We got the goal pretty much immediately, and then we never lost control of the game from then on, did we?
No, and let's face it, we haven't seen that certainly through Mourinho's tenure. So good almost 2 years since we've had that kind of sort of performance. It's if we score first, we've got a chance. If the opposition score first, it's scary times. But today just went right against that, so I was so pleased with that.
I would actually say this win is the first time this season we've not been lucky and won, because Man City had their chances, Wolves had their chances, West Ham had their chance. Watford had their chances. We've actually won today, and we can all walk away and speak to any Villa fan out there, any football fan, and say we deserve to win that. And the pundits will agree. The stats show it. Everything was properly done today, and I don't know if I don't remember having that feeling in the Premier League since, I don't know when we last not battered Villa, but properly won. I don't know when we last properly won a football game. I have to really scratch my head to think we just nicked it 1-0. Today we properly won that game, and we should have won it 3 or 4-1. Yeah. I can't remember last feeling like that in the Premier League. I'll have to go back to last season.
Sheffield United last year when Bale got his hat trick, but again, how long ago was that? That was months ago, wasn't it?
It just shows how far we've fallen back. But
you getting more confidence in Nuno after that, or is it, he's still got a lot of convincing to do?
Yes and no. I do sometimes feel he's a little bit out of his depth, and I agree with your point earlier, or I think it might have been Josh's, when he was like, we gave him a 2-year contract, potentially in the hope of Poch. But if we go back to Poch early on, none of us would be sat here on these talkings going, yeah, he's the man, because his performances were equally as bad, but he turned the corner. So
two wins out of 6, I think it was, his first 6 games.
And you can't base a career or your managerial sort of tenure on something as short as that, because there's so many other factors. He's only got to look at his injuries and the games we've had.
Agreed. And he's won half the games as well. You know what I mean?
He's won more than half. Yeah. He's won more than half now.
And let's face it, whether you win a game 1-0, and being lucky, or you win a game 1-0 and you're very unlucky, it doesn't really matter. 3 points is 3 points, isn't it? If we'd scored 10 today, still only 3 points, and that's all that counts.
All right, you feel very good, much better going into the international break then, right?
Bring it on.
Yeah, certainly a lot better than this time last week somehow.
Oh, I think so, just about. Phil, nice to speak to you, my friend.
Take care, mate. Take care, guys.
Speak to you in a bit.
Bye.
Nice to speak to Phil. Here we go. The Irish Hotspur. I think the Tottenham players must be listening into your pre-match pump-up, because they looked up for it today. David, good 3 points, wasn't it?
No, look, what was all the panic about? What was all the panic about around Tottenham? No, look, first of all, I do want to say it's just great to see the smile back on Tottenham fans' faces. That's the big plus from today. I think us fans, we deserve that win today. And I agree with you. Look, along with Brains McLeod, who I know listens in with his comments the other day, I'd say he was running around, knowing that I got the score prediction right and everything else. I'd say he was going nuts today. But no, look, I'm absolutely delighted. I think there's plenty of positives to take away from today. I'll be honest with you. Look, no matter what's going on around the club, you don't know when the next one is going to come. No. We've seen that over the last 3 games. Just enjoy it. Just be happy today, and don't let anybody
be grateful.
Yeah, and what really impressed you about the performance today? Why do you think? What do you think got us the win?
Look, we started fast. We had determination. We had hunger. We had desire, and our heads didn't drop when we conceded today. We pushed on, ploughed on, and really got the points. I'm absolutely delighted. I think the change in formation, for me, I actually think we did play the 4-2-3-1 today. I think it was a massive improvement. And when we play that, we get a massive improvement out of Reguilon and Emerson showing today, because what was happening is right, Reguilon was bombing forward. Ali was playing on the left side of the tree, also bombing forward, which means that when teams turned over the ball, and because Ali is the most dispossessed player in the Tottenham team, he has doubled the dispossessions than any other player in our team. Because he was getting dispossessed so easy, teams were just finding it easy to get down the left-hand side. And that's why Eric Dyer was being exposed. He was having to cover the left and try and cover the centre. But when you have Højbjerg and Skip there, it allows your fullbacks to push on with confidence, knowing that you have these guys to protect you. Like under Pochettino, that was happening. Walker and Rose were allowed to bomb on. Wanyama and Dembele, they would offer the cover for them to allow them to get forward. So I think it's definitely a platform to build on.
Absolutely. Just one thing on that point, actually. Nuno's come out after the game and said we have to find the balance between defensive and attacking together, because it's not just about attack and it's obviously not just about defense. So today we showed both sides of the game, where we defended as a unit, whether it's Eric Dyer, whether it's Lucas Moura, Romero, and we attacked really well as well. And that was like a throwback Poch performance for me, where the whole team was just at it. But one of the things I want to ask you, David, is Tanguy in that role, is he the man to stick with going into Newcastle, or it's a very debatable topic at the moment with Spurs fans? I mean, who do you think starts? I imagine it's not going to be Ali, after what you've just said, being the most dispossessed man in football. So do you stick with Tanguy now? Do you still give him 60 minutes, or what do you do with that one, mate?
Do you know what? For me, I actually think, believe it or not, I actually think Tanguy would be the right man going into Newcastle, because they are shit. Let's be honest, they are absolutely diabolical.
At the moment,
They're
yeah.
crap. So then, Ndombele, he does possess the skill just to kind of waltz through them and cut them open. You know, like a knife through butter, to be honest with you. But long term, I think it's just going to be the case of just hopefully for me it's like a lottery pick, just putting Lo Celso or an Ndombele in, and hopefully that's the right game for them. Because look, with Lo Celso, I think there was a lot of positives when he came on today. But again, he's another one that can blow hot and cold. And for me, it's just about kind of identifying the weaknesses in the opposition and picking who you think is right to fulfill that role going forward. Look, long term, I actually think it'll be Brian Gil-Messi, to be honest with you. I do think he has the capabilities of playing there. The way he just floats into space, picks up ball. Yeah. I think it'd be brilliant for Son, and I think it'd be brilliant for Harry Kane too going forward.
Why do you think Nuno's not starting him or giving him time in that number 10? Do you think it's a fitness thing? Do you think he's building him up? I mean, a lot of fans are crying out for Hill to come in there and dictate. I mean, what's your view on Nuno? What's his tactics with that one?
Do you know what? You made a good point, you know, and Gil was alluding to it in his press conference about building up his strength. But the thing is, look, Luka Modric was similar stature. You know what I mean? It's just, look, with Gil, he's just going to take a bit of time to acclimatise. And look, for me, I think you're right. It's just about picking that right game for him to come in and flourish, let him hit the ground running. And then I think we have one hell of a serious player on our hands.
Yeah, I completely agree. But in terms of the new boys, Emerson and Romero, what do you make of their performances today? Was today the day they really announced themselves as Tottenham players?
Look, I'm going to start with Romero. Look, with Romero, I said it myself today. It's nice to see him. It's nice to see a defender being proactive rather than reactive. Look, and you could see that today. I know Dyer had a decent game. Look, for me, I think the blame lies mostly on him for the goal, because I've seen it time and time again where he just lets the player cut across him and get the tap in. But look, for me, I think Romero, because you look at it, the amount of throw-ins and corner kicks they had, Romero was always the first one to go and win that ball. He's like, this is my area. You ain't having any joy in here. Whereas Dyer, there was one stage Romero slipped. I think it was a throw-in that came in. And Dyer was just kind of standing there, and you're thinking, okay, bail your teammate out. Go and win that ball, get it clear. And he didn't. He kind of just stood there, and then the ball ended up bouncing around. It's these little things that Romero does that makes him so good. Look, I know you could say he had a massive hand in the goal today. You know, he kind of lunged in, and if you're going to lunge in like that, you have to win the challenge, or you are opening yourself up. But he won a lot of them today where he was just stopping the ball coming in, and it was a huge platform for us to build on. This guy, look, you don't spend 55 million on a centre-back. At his age, I think he's, 23? And he's clearly been identified for the next 6, 7, 8 years. And for me, you have to start playing him. I know he couldn't play him because of him being in Croatia and all that sort of jazz. But from now on, you have to get him in there, and it's just about finding the right partner beside him.
Yeah, I agree, and I completely agree what you say about proactive defending. I feel like the other defenders we have a lot of the time, you know, they make blocks and they make clearances and they do all that defending stuff, which is fine, but you know, they don't step in front of players. They don't get aggressive with attackers as much as Romero does.
I think the Spurs fans are going to have to get used to seeing Romero picking up yellows, maybe making the odd clanger like he did today, but it way more than outweighs what he does most of the time, which is wins his tackles and, you know, gets the ball back into Tottenham's favour. So I think Spurs fans are going to have a bit of a journey with Romero, and we're just going to have to get used to it.
I actually don't mind a player picking up cards, because it means, like, look, I don't know about you guys, but how many times last year did we see players just walking through our team, getting shots off? At least now we're just taking them out. We're not even giving them that opportunity. So I don't mind picking up yellow cards. At the end of the day, if you don't have the money to spend like City and Chelsea, then you have to go out another avenue. Being the most aggressive team in the league is certainly one you can do.
Well, look, and also, you know, Ramos wasn't afraid of getting a card, was he? And he's one of the best centre-backs of all time.
You look at the best defenders are able to play on the front. Rio used to always try and step in and get in front of his man. I think with Romero though, when he gets a yellow, which is we saw that today, you're always worried that he's gonna do it. Might do it again. But I think he's smart enough to play a different type of game once he's on a yellow, because I think he's intelligent. Actually, football intelligence is just as important as skills and other ability. And I see Emerson playing very intelligently today. You know, like very intelligent moves, and not. You know, some players just have intelligence, some don't. And I feel like Romero and Emerson, both signings, are very intelligent. Even Brian Hill, very skillful, but intelligence is the difference. Yeah. Harry Kane is very Teddy Sheringham was very intelligent. These players just have that bit. And I saw signs of intelligence in Emerson today, the way he was moving around and the positions he was taking up. That's a very good thing to see in a footballer early on, that intelligence, you know. Whereas Dyer sometimes lacks it.
Just to touch on Emerson, Josh, I don't know about you, but for me, as well, it was nice to see the fullback take responsibility and run with the ball. Because look, with Doherty and Aurier, a lot of the times they were taking the easy pass inside, not making that pass, and we're giving the ball back to the opposition.
Yeah, taking risks.
But Emerson was taking responsibility, trying to get on the outside, bomb down the line, trying to get us up the pitch. And that's also a massive help. It's all these little things that we've been missing over the last couple of years that now, today we've built the platform. If we can keep doing them, there's definitely a lot of positivity going forward.
You know, with that, what you just said there, players come to Tottenham and they come with a different culture from the previous club or previous league, and they come with an attacking culture, and then we make them Spursy, because when they make those runs, no one finds them. When they do a 1-2, they get the sideways pass or the backwards. So they generally, over 5-6 games, stop taking risks, and that's a really bad poison that could enter players when the team's not playing risky football, because risky football wins you, creates chances. One-touch football we saw today, a couple of combos, and we opened up Aston Villa. So I just hope he doesn't become Spursy in the way that he continues to risk and continues to try and do something creative each time. Because if you don't get the ball and the 1-2s from the players around you, you stop making those runs because you think, it's just not going to happen. So I just hope we continue this slightly edgy football where we're trying to be a little bit more creative, innovative, and not playing the sideways, backwards, safe stuff and the pragmatic stuff, which people are worried about Nuno playing pragmatic football. Today, that wasn't a Nuno-style performance. Maybe it was one of his earlier performances from Wolves, where they used to play quite sort of good, attractive football. But it was good to see that, man. I mean, Emerson was probably one of the guys that could go down as man of the match, along with Romero, along with Son. I mean, who would you give man of the match to if you had to choose? I know there's a few.
Yeah, look, I'll be honest with you. I think my man of the match today is Son, to be honest with you. Look, this guy is really stepping up. To look, he's already world class, but what he's added now is goals, responsibility. Like today, okay, we conceded, but he physically grabbed the Graham by the scruff of the neck, ran at Aston Villa, and he skinned his man alive, and then created the chance for Lucas Moura. I'm not sure whether it ended up being an OG or not, to be honest with you.
They gave it an own goal, but I don't think it was. I think it was. I think they slowed down the replay, and Lucas got the final touch on it. I think the defender touched it onto Lucas. That's what I saw, but they gave it as an OG.
First fans will give it to Lucas, that's for sure. But look, with Son today, I think he's been I think he was brilliant. He was trying to create things. He was positive. He was running at players. And the thing with Sonny, he can skin a player, but he has that raw pace over 2 or 3 yards that really gets him, really builds up that momentum and makes him quicker than the defenders. And I really like that about him today. I have to say, big up to Sonny.
How would you rate Kane today, David? Because I know you were saying in the pre-match service. Today he had some service. Unfortunately, he didn't score, but he finally got service, didn't he? He got a few opportunities.
No, he didn't. He looked better. Let's be honest. If he scored today, he would have had 1 goal and 2 assists. I have down on my notes. You know what I mean? And we would have all been sitting there absolutely going nuts. Kane is back. Look, for me, I actually think, the questions of him not being interested, I think, are gone. I think he was interested today. He was fighting. There was times long balls was coming into him. He was getting the knockdowns back to our players.
Yep.
There was other times he made runs, and Dembele just couldn't find him with the final pass. He took a couple of long range shots today. He should have scored. He should have just simply, lifted that one up over the goalkeeper. It didn't happen. He should have scored, but all in all, I think it's positives. And one thing I will say is look, maybe this is a blessing in disguise for us Spurs fans. And just hear me out on this. Maybe things is just like, look, sometimes in life things are about timing. That's what I've from my experience, sometimes you just have to naturally let things happen, and it's all about timing. And maybe Harry Kane is going to come into form after the international break. at maybe just the right time.
He normally does.
Maybe we can make a good run. Maybe he can be the difference between us winning more games than we lose, and maybe we can make a good run. We're just outside top 4. And what I'm seeing this year is a much more competitive Premier League. A lot more teams are at it. United have dropped points. People thought they were going to easily catch the top 4. City have dropped points. Leicester are shambolic. There's an opening there. And maybe Kane can come into form at the right time. And hopefully this team realises that they can all come together. Even Nuno. I do want to touch on Nuno just quickly. But maybe we can all come together now and really hit form, and Harry Kane can lead the charge.
Yeah, they say form is temporary and class is permanent.
Class is permanent.
So
that's what I'm talking
that's
about.
true. I'm sure Kane hasn't lost his ability, and you don't wake up and he didn't get his
don't.
move, but you don't wake up and lose what you've been doing for 6-7
No,
years. So
and I think he did show a bit of desire today and hunger.
Yeah, there was one point he ran back.
Yeah,
I don't know if he lost the ball or someone lost the ball, and he's run back. And he's
still got some stuff to improve on, but I think people saying he was terrible again. I think that's wide of the mark. I don't think he was terrible.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but in 2015-16, did he not score in like his first 6 Premier League games?
9.
9. There you are. You know what I mean? The guy will get you goals. And the thing is, he already has, I think, 6 goals already this season. I know they've been against, I got one against Wolves and the rest have kind of been against pub teams. But at the end of the day, he's still finding the net. He just needs to get that Premier League goal. And look, the thing is as well, I also hear this Son Kane thing, right? And I get it. But the thing is, I want to say it, they're better together. The thing is, when you have just Son or Kane, teams know you only have one of the players to worry about, and it's very easy to make a plan and shut that down. But when you have the two of them, if Son gets the ball, you have Kane to worry about Kane's movement, Kane's running. And if vice versa, if Kane has the ball, you're worried about Son running in behind. You don't know whether he's going to go outside, cut inside, and it just creates havoc for defence. We're starting to create a little bit of a culture, because I've seen it with Højbjerg as well lately. People starting to pull this guy apart. We're starting to create a bit of a culture where we're starting to tear down our best players here at Tottenham. And we're making excuses for Dele Alli, Ndombele, Davies, Winks, all these sort of players. Look, we need to be... When the likes of Kane and Højbjerg, who actually deserve it, who for me, best performers last season, Kane, a legend of the club, Højbjerg deserves a back, and he was doing 3 jobs last season, for God's sake. You know what I mean? This is the time to put your arms around them and show them the love. Give them that extra bit of love. And stop tearing them down and making excuses for players who continue to let us down time and time again.
I agree. If anyone deserves patience or deserves like an acknowledgement that he will come good, it's Harry Kane. So many times they've doubted him, and he always comes good. Always.
Without Kane in the first 3 games of the season, we did look a bit more unpredictable, a bit more.
Well, he only missed 1 game
and a bit of energy.
He only missed the City game.
City against.
Yeah, he missed the City game.
Yeah, he missed the City game. We just looked a little bit more dynamic and unpredictable, but. And I think there'll be times when Nuno has to think about life without Kane if he's injured or when he's tired, or he just needs a couple of games off. So I think it would be good for Nuno to experiment without Kane in maybe the lesser games. Maybe if we're 2-0 up, you take Kane off, and with Bergwijn fit, with Hill, with Moura, with Son.
I would say if we had a backup striker, we just don't have one, do we? You know what I mean?
But I think Nuno needs to think about life without Kane. Maybe obviously next season we'll see what happens in the January or summer transfer window. But it will be good to see Nuno experiment without Kane. I don't want us to become just Kane FC, and that's it. I do want Nuno to pull him off 20 minutes to go, 2-3-0 up, and try and experiment with different formations up top, because I think that will be needed when or if Kane is tired or injured. But for now, I think we just got to play around him.
I think it's clear that Son will be the striker if Kane doesn't play. I think Nuno made that clear with pre-season, with the City game and that with the Wolves game. I think it will be clear that Son will be our striker when Kane is not available. And then that's grand, because you can just put Brian Hill out on the left-hand side, and you can still have that pace, that creativity.
Or Bergwijn.
Yeah, well... I have my doubts about that guy. I think everybody knows that. But look, guys, I do want to actually give Nuno a bit of praise, because I'll be honest with you. Look, we're very quick to criticise him, so let's be very quick to praise him. At the end of the day, his job, for me, I think was on the line today. He made the right formation. He made the right calls in the lineup. And I think the only thing he probably could have done is maybe brought on the Celso a little bit earlier. But for me, you have to praise the guy. He got a lot right today. There's now a blueprint going forward, foundations to build on, building blocks there. And I think there's a lot of positives. I think, look, when you look at the squad, I think the 4-2-3-1 is the way to go. The best players in the squad who played from the Poch era, That's the system they know, off by heart. Kane, Son, Hugo Lloris there. Well, I was going to say Eric Dyer, but maybe him too. And then you have players who the formation will really suit. Skip and Højbjerg just doing their defensive duties. Regulon, Emerson, it allows them to bomb forward. So I just think it's the right way to go forward. But hopefully Nuno has learned now. There's just certain players you cannot play in this team anymore who are just, unfortunately, they cause Tottenham more harm than good. And hopefully he's learned you just cannot persist with them. I don't care how much Daniel Levy wants him to or anybody else. It's his job on the line. Managers are only given a short space of time now. Grab your cojones, make that call, and send them to train with the under-23s.
I think that's a really good point. And also, one point I want to make is players have a choice when to turn up and when not to turn up, regardless of the formation, regardless of the players' personnel selection. Today, the players had a choice to turn up and put in a shift. Nuno cannot get in the players' bodies and do that bit for them. That final part of the jigsaw is the players turning up. The players turned up today. But when the players don't turn up, we'll blame Nuno and we'll blame the players as well if we need to. And when the players turn up, we'll praise Nuno and we'll praise the players. It's a joint effort every game. And for me, I'm just glad the players actually turned up physically, mentally at 1-0, at 1-1. We didn't, camp back and heads drop. So it shows that a lot of managers, unfortunately, have to deal with players that have a choice and make the wrong choice. And thank God everyone gelled today and did it. I want to see that at Newcastle now. I want to see that at West Ham. The players have to turn up. They are half the jigsaw in this whole piece. And yes, Nuno has to motivate them. Yes, Nuno has to train them. Yes, Nuno has to coach them and pick them. But the players have to turn up. And finally, the players turned up. And I'm just so happy to see that. But being a Spurs fan, I'll only hold on to it this weekend.
Let's see how long they turn up for.
When it comes to Newcastle, I'll be biting fingernails again, thinking, right, what Tottenham are we going to get? But at least the players showed they can do it when they really put their minds to it.
And if I have time just for one more thing, guys.
Go on.
I know Josh was mentioning the corners on the with Phil in the last game. Aston Villa have actually won 21 corners in their last 3 games. They're actually looking to get the set pieces. But the thing is, as Spurs fans, we have to expect team to be looking to get corner kicks as well against us, because we've already conceded 3 goals this season, if not 4, from corner kicks alone. NS Mora, 1 against Wolves, 1 against Chelsea. Teams know it's a weak link of ours. So until we can sort that out, which is sortable, you know what I mean? It comes down to coaching every little aspect of the game. If you have players who can't think for themselves, then you just have to coach them and tell them what to do. And hopefully today we've rectified that problem.
I think because of the lack of depth in our squad, there isn't enough competition for places in every position, and that means players get comfortable and they know even if they put in a 5-6 out of 10, they're still going to be picked just purely on talent. And that's our long-term problem. That's something we need to work on with investment and recruitment. But I think the corners thing is a good thing that we today we didn't have Ali. Well, Ali wasn't even playing, but we didn't have Tanguy up against Mings or Ali against Silva and Chelsea. So it looks like Nuno reads and watches TV and reads papers, and he's getting the message. But he's not a baby, man. He's been in the Premier League a long time now. He should be getting these decisions right anyways. And what worries me is it's a very painful process of making mistakes and learning, not starting Skip against Arsenal, keeping Ali in the team too long, corners, set pieces. It is quite painful, and it starts to make you think, no matter what Nuno says or does, do these players even listen? And he alluded to that after the Chelsea game. He said, he was very cryptic messages in terms of, I put formations or tactics out and it's up to the players to deliver. So I do feel there's a bit of player power at Spurs, but today can be a corner that we turn, and maybe dropping Ali, one of the popular guys in the changing room, might send a little message out to the other players as well. No one's got 100% guaranteed place.
Definitely. All right, David.
Cheers,
good to
David.
see you, mate. Nice to speak to you as always. Looking forward to the next pump up. It's going to be a long wait, a couple of weeks, but it worked today. The boys brought home the points, and that's what it's all about.
No, look, that's what it's about. Honestly, they need to be putting me in the dressing room to give the hat. There's no better man in the business. But look, some of the comments I've been listening to, like Rains McLeod, Josh, and that on some of the shows, the pump up is clearly working, making a good fist of it. Look, today I got the score prediction right. I got how the game was going to go right, apart from Harry Kane scoring. A few people in the chat actually saying, I slate players and I don't criticise Doherty. Honestly, there must be first time people.
You don't criticize Doherty.
They must be they're virgins, man. They're virgins.
Give me a break. Look, I know the call was a good one, but I can't be perfect. You know, I can't just pick every player on the team. But look, at the end of the day, we're Tottenham Hotspur. You know, when we finished all this, grab the cockerel, give it a hug, give it a kiss. You know, a win is a win. You know, there's plenty of positives going forward. We can actually be a bit positive going into the international break with a lot of direction now, in my opinion, in terms of management in the squad and what way to go. So a lot of positives. Just enjoy the day. Really enjoy it, you know.
Absolutely.
And the road to redemption is well and truly on, guys. Great job today, Josh and
Cheers,
Josh
pal.
and Sim. I think you complement each other really well.
We've got
And
100%. We've got 100%. We've got 100% record. So thanks for the.
Hope you'll keep it up.
Yeah.
Can't wait to get you in the studio, David. Soon.
No, 100%. Look, it'll be a good laugh, that's for sure. Hopefully,
Can't
I can
wait.
bring the Irish as well.
Nice one, David.
Nice
Good
one,
to see you,
Dave.
mate. Have a good one.
Take care, David.
Come on. All right, let's keep going.
Oh, we got more.
The Joracle.
The Joracle.
Oh, what a
Hey,
lovely
guys.
backdrop you have over there.
Nice day.
Scenery. Look at that,
It's a
sunny.
beautiful day here in Reykjavik.
Nice backdrop.
Wow.
Look at the sunny clouds, blue
Probably
sky.
gonna be the last sunny day around here, and then it's gonna go.
Enjoy it.
Wet
Well,
and
look,
grey.
It's Hongmin sunny out there, as far as I can see.
Yeah.
and exactly.
Yeah.
And what a way to bless the day with 3 points as well. Couldn't be much better.
Yeah, I actually didn't see too much of the game. I saw a little bit. Jonas was playing a game as well, so
How did Jonas do?
it wasn't a good day for him. So
Sorry
I
to
guess yeah, when he wins, Spurs loses, and the other way around, right? So it's always a mixed bag every weekend, it seems. So, but I think I saw enough, you know, and I saw some quite clearly a super good performance defensively. Royale was, of course, very impressive. I think what we're seeing in general is like Romero is having none of it. He's stepping up, and what we'll see every time he's involved now is that the whole defense is going to be better. He is giving orders. He's helping everybody with their positioning, and you know they're taking the cues of his positioning, which is going to be better. In terms of you guys were saying he's going to do a clanger once in a while and so on. I don't like. To me, that's built into the way he plays. It's not a deficiency. It's kind of like if you're playing high press. Once in a while, the opposition is going to break your lines and have a free go at the goal. You know, that's going to happen. That's just built into the tactic you're playing. The same with the way he plays proactively, like reading the play, like one of the best I've seen just already at reading the play. Also, I can see that his discipline that he's bringing from Atlanta, like there's no wasted movement, there's no jogging around, there's no
Jory,
confusion.
one thing I would say on that point is what we need to appreciate, and Nuno needs to appreciate, is when Romero, the way he plays, he needs to make sure that when he gets it wrong, like today, Pierre or Skip or someone in that defensive line is ready to sweep up and mop up. Because today, Romero got it wrong just once, and unfortunately it led to a goal, which is not totally Romero's fault. But, you know, had he got that tackle right, the ball goes out and, you know, Tottenham are back in control. But you got it wrong. So we need to make sure that the players around Romero understand the style of play he has and his defensive approach, and make sure that there is a plan B so that someone's there to sweep up behind him, because he will get it wrong once out of 5, 6, 7. And I just worry that will punish us moving forward. So it's Nuno and the players around him understanding how he plays.
I get what you're saying, but even if you just take the game today, even if he gets it wrong, like this game, this kind of pressure, we would usually have conceded 2 goals at least. Yeah. And so I'm saying we didn't do that because of Romero, because of his leadership in the defense.
His tackle success is quite high, isn't it? Generally,
Is
it's kind
of. I feel
but
like
the better teams will punish us, and it's when he does go front foot, just for the players to have the know-how to back that style of defending, because that style of defending is quite risky. And it can be quite successful if you get it right. It can be very successful, and it could almost change your season around having a defender like that in your team. Not many teams have a defender like Romero. Only the absolute elite teams can hold on to players like that. So we've actually got a diamond in Romero. I just worry that the team the defensive team needs to be built around him, like the attacking team needs to be built around Kane.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Absolutely, for sure. And you brought up a good point, which is just football intelligence, and something has been really kind of almost our hallmark, our negative hallmark, is how stupid our players is. Sorry, some of them have amazing ability,
I agree.
like an Aurier was amazing in skills, but his intelligence was like Kane called Aurier and Sanchez dumb and dumber, and he wasn't wrong.
Decision making.
And the same problem we see the same problem with Delhi a lot of the time. Yeah. We also see it, for me, I see it actually kind of the most with Dyer, because Dyer also mixes in a little bit of a weak leadership, or like he tries to hide away a little bit. So Dyer is the one that annoys me the most. But in general, I think like if we have Romero in there, none of the guys will get away with it without him having a go at them. And also he will just help them, especially with positioning. I think once they're taking their positional cues off of Romero, we're in a completely different league defensively.
I agree. I think if you look at it with Van Dijk at Liverpool, or Diaz at
exactly.
Look at Rudiger at Chelsea, you have that one solid, good decision-making defender. And I just hope Nuno doesn't drop him and try and
No.
He won't.
Give him time.
No. And to be honest, I think like what we saw the formation today. I think really. My feeling is that Nuno's always kind of been trying to play this system with a little bit different personnel, changing that a little bit, but he's always kind of leaned towards this kind of play and
he
formation.
Got it wrong against Arsenal, didn't he, with Skip? I don't know why. Maybe
then
I don't think he was injured.
Well, for me, I almost feel like there must have been pressure from both Kane, Levy. I don't know what, because that game was like we invited a big hole into.
We could be saying fourth now if it wasn't some of these basic errors that Nuno's made, basic decisions. Crystal Palace.
But that's what I'm saying. Like it's not in Nuno's. It's not in Nuno. I don't get. I can't get that calculation to add up when we're going into the biggest fight of the season
away, and
we're gonna put in we're gonna replace strong defensive players like Skip for a weak Delhi and so on, So I think like that's also a marquee game where both Kane and Levy might have had their say. I think Nuno wants Kane on the side. I think Kane I agree with him. Kane should be fighting for a spot on the side. Son is our best striker. Son is going to be our talisman. Kane didn't have a horrible game. No, he didn't have a horrible game. But for what Kane doesn't bring, which is the lack of pace and the lack of pressure, he's not doing good enough anyway. So we need to make Kane basically fight his way back into the team. If we play Son centrally, like we've done, and whether it be Kane or a Bergwijn, I don't care. I care about Tottenham. I don't care about Kane if Kane is not serving Tottenham. So I think like Kane is still not. He's far from good enough. And if Kane has been our talisman historically, it's gonna be a difficult thing culturally for the squad when he's in the squad and he's not doing his work. You see how Sonny is working, how he's fighting for the game.
I think even
Sonny.
To be fair, against Arsenal, Kane had two glorious chances, and they were meters, inches out.
Exactly. So
that could have been 2-1.
Well, let him say. What's he saying?
If anybody else, if it was anybody else, we wouldn't be judging him by this. But we also have to remember when we play Kane, we sacrifice quite a bit, especially for our squad, to get this clinical execution that he does bring, and he's the best in the world at that when he's on his game. But he's not on his game. And to be honest, I don't think we can motivate him any better than to let him know it's not all about you now.
I put this question to you: with Kane not being on his game, maybe he's 5 inches here, 10 inches there. Today we saw that.
Yes.
Is it the only way for him to get back to scoring goals is to start scoring goals? So we need to give him that opportunity to not do it in training, but to do it on the pitch, which he nearly did today.
Yeah, well, he's had it. He can also. That's also why I wanted him to play in the Europa game, is because that's the games where he can get back to form without it costing in the league. That's the problem. The problem is that we have one kind of system, I feel now, that we are competitive with, and it's all about pace and explosive movement. And Kane's not a part of that kind of system. On the side, maybe he can actually fill a role there. I'm not convinced that he wouldn't be all right there. But I do feel like bringing Sonny into the center is going to yield a lot more goals from Sonny. So, that's how I at least would go. But I would say in general, this is our best team. I would now, for the next game, I would probably start Lo Celso over Tanguy. And then I would want Sonny in the middle and Kane on the side. I also think like Kane, even though Kane will take it as a demotion, and maybe it is, I think that he will actually find more joy as a player in that kind of a role. But he will also find more competition from Bergwijn and so on once they get back.
Where would you start Kane on the left and then Sonny in the middle and more on the right, or would you stick Kane in behind Sonny?
No, I would think like if I remember, he was he was drifting quite a bit, but his main positioning was on the right, when he was on the side. So, I mean, tactically, it's of course also a considering. I'm not saying Kane should never be in the middle. He should definitely, especially once he gets back to form, he's probably better used. Then we're talking about a completely different game. But I'm just talking for the foreseeable future now.
Yeah.
We can't really allow more time. Kane needs to find his own way, and he needs to find his own motivation. And we can't know when that's going to come. What we can know is that we should expect more goals out of Sonny. Sonny is having a moment now. We need to maximize that. I think we maximize it with speed and on-ball ability, which even though Bergwijn doesn't score a lot, you have to say he's great on the ball. He's super fast, and same with Lucas and even Gil. We have got good options there, and I think once Kane gets back to being Kane, then it's a no-brainer. Sure, we'll play him in the middle, but now we maybe have the option of playing both Sonny and Kane, or switching them up, or whatever. I don't think we should allow ourselves to have this royal seat for Kane in the middle, even if he's playing like he's playing now. So,
but how, Jory, today 2-1 win after the backdrop of those 3 defeats. How big was it for Nuno to get that victory today and get a performance out of the players where you got the feeling that they're still behind him, whereas people were questioning that before today?
Yeah, no, I thought that was what I was most happy to see, is the fight that they put in. I think it's very important that if everything else being equal, we should choose the new players over the old players, because they haven't gotten too soaked with this Spursy culture, and they can bring some energy into the squad maybe. The fight is what we need. I don't think, like I said many times before, I don't think Nuno is a brilliant tactician or anything, but I don't think he's retarded either. I think when we see obvious problems like the North London derby, there's something more to the story that we just don't see, and then we can speculate as to what it is. But I think Nuno did a great job. I think it's exactly what you already touched on. if Nuno's supposed to be this holding coach, then let him just work with the players and let him, get his time to get something out of them. We're not getting Potts tomorrow, and we're probably not getting anybody that we would be interested in if we fire him after 6 games or 7 games or 8 games or whatever. We need to show some a little bit of professional ambition and just stick with some plans for a bit, not just have this PR reaction all the time, which
brought some good youngsters at Wolves. He develops
exactly. I mean that's what I consider. Exactly, I consider Nuno a world-class manager. Like I know this. We know this in Iceland, that Wolves are often offering some of our best talents spots there, and we know that it's one of the best places to go and get nurtured. It's also one of the hardest places to go to. Yeah. But and Nuno's been ahead of that and had a great part in that success. So
and maybe this is why we're seeing performances from Emerson, from Hill, Tanganga, young guys in the squad. Maybe the man management that Nuno brings over a Jose or maybe a more ruthless
and also
is helping them. He's helping his performances.
And also I think like Fabio's role in selecting intelligence players as well, like you talked about there, And I would actually say one player that's always been football intelligent and never allowed things to get Spursy with himself is, of course, my man Lucas. He's kept running, trying to be dynamic, even though everybody else is standing on their heels and not moving. He keeps trying to, and that's why he looks like a headless chicken. It's because the rest of the team doesn't move and doesn't do it.
He had all his hair when he came to Tottenham, and he's got none left. So that shows that.
Well, I had all my hair once as well. So it's a common problem for Spurs fans.
I don't know how me and Sim still have hair after.
I'm going thumb thinning. I can tell you that much. I'm definitely thinning.
I think by January you'll be done. But
since Posh left, it's accelerated very quickly.
That's why maybe got no hair.
Maybe we'll do a class action lawsuit on Levy.
Exactly, for the hair loss anxiety. Jory,
here we go.
Here we go.
All right, guys.
Jory, good to speak to you, my friend. Always good to speak to you.
Likewise.
See you in a bit.
Care. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on,
you Spurs.
All right. Is anyone else? That's it. All right. That's a mammoth show. Post-match fan show. Spurs have been Aston Villa 2-1 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I want to big thank you for Josh, Spurs Debates, for joining me. Do you want to plug anything? Feel free.
You can. If you want to see more of my my ugly face, then tune into my channel called Spurs Debate TV. Spurs Debate, one word, and then Space TV. I'm on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and all that good stuff. And I just want to say thanks for having me in the studio. A very, very professional setup here, and the boys have put in their lives into this. And let's get it to 100k, guys. I mean, I don't know if we can do it in the international break.
Let's try.
If we can get it by
that'll be a big push.
Newcastle away, if we can get to 98, 97, we've got a massive, a massive pat on the back for these boys, for getting this far so quickly. So keep pushing this this channel is all I'm going to say, because this is the people's channel. This is a channel where you can come on, be a guest in the hot seat on the show. I was a guest on this channel, and I'm lucky enough to sit here and spend time with people like Sim and the guys behind the scenes. So get the channel up to 100k, guys. It's the only channel that represents Tottenham through and through. There's no biasness here. It is what it is, and it's the real deal. So press the like, share the channel, and obviously make sure you subscribe and get yourself a membership, get yourself on the fan cams, and hopefully you can get yourself down here as well. But thanks for having me.
Thank you very much for those kind words. Thank you very much. Come on. Big up, Josh. Big up to all you lot for joining, liking, subscribing. One quick thing. We got a super chat from Jamie Allen. No message to the super chat, but thank you very much for sending that through. Thank you, everyone, for all the calls, all the likes, all the comments, everyone in the chat. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Come on, 3 points. Everyone go and enjoy your weekend and what's left of it. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.